All right. What is going on, everybody? It is Thursday night. It is a wrestling outlet, and I am Boxman. I got dogs barking. I got wives on the phone. I've got someone trying to fucking sell me Bitcoin over here. My God, what the fuck is going on, everybody? But of course, across from me, the man, he is.
Well, of course, I'm the voice of a generation, Smark Wahlberg. How are you?
I am okay.
You okay?
Let's just leave it at I'm okay.
I didn't actually know the answer to this question this time because I was a wee bit late joining the call. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, we're here. Not 5 minutes. In a job that's on time.
Yeah, that's what I tell all my employers.
Most jobs, that's pretty much on time. Come on. I don't know.
So,
Today we had some huge fucking storms here last night, and man, it was a fucking bitch getting to work this morning. It was fucking traffic everywhere.
thanks.
Every fucking where there was traffic. It was a nightmare getting to work. My GPS took me. We were all windy, weird way, but I made it there exactly on time.
Right on.
Exactly on time. So I got lucky this morning, but I mean, I give myself 20 extra minutes to get to work. It takes me
Right.
an hour and 20 to get to work, basically. But yeah, hour and 20 minutes.
Hmm.
Then about an hour and a half to get home. Hour 45 sometimes. So
Feel like that would be the sort of the inverse. It would be an hour and 45 to get there and then 120 getting home. Just
I hit different highways there and home.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's a gamble. And my GPS sometimes takes me a different way home. If tomorrow is usually a light day driving there and driving home. So I'll be all right tomorrow. So not that worried about it. But enough traffic talk with Smark and Boxman.
Hmm. There you go. Move on to sports real quick. I know these things aren't necessarily fun, but I feel obligated as a Chicagoan and as a somewhat Bears fan. I'm confused. They've broken my heart so many times. I don't know what to do with these fuckers. Anyways, Dick Butkus passed away a couple hours ago. So RIP to him, one of the best linebackers NFL history, best linebackers Bears history, just in general. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but I just wanted to put it out
Oh,
there.
that's why Dirk put the Bears.
Well, they're
Oh,
playing tonight too. They're at halftime right now.
oh man, and fucking, I mean, jeez, episode of Night Court he was on.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was on an episode of Night Court. Absolutely, he was, and he was on a good, with the Saturday Night Live guys doing the Bears. He showed
Hmm.
up there one. Oh man, that's fucking awful. That's fucking awful.
Yeah, it's sad times. He was 80 years old, so he lived a full life, but
I mean, yeah, I mean he was, he was the coach during the hype of the Bears
Mhm.
back in the '80s
Oh no,
when.
that was you're thinking of Mike Ditka.
Oh,
Dick
that's right.
Butkus,
You're right. You're right.
linebacker.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Wrong guy. Wrong guy. Sorry. Sorry.
And both had mustaches, so you're not too far off.
True. Very true. Very true. And in Rocky, he had a dog named Butkus.
Mm.
Not sure if that matters or not, but yeah, that's horrible, man. That really is.
Yeah.
That is so.
But other than that, everything's been going well, for me at least.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, then I guess we can get into talking a little bit of wrestling. A few things happened over the weekend. I don't know. Somebody debuted. Some guy.
Some guy.
Some guy that looked like Edge but older.
Indeed. Ledge.
Ledge, wedge, hedge.
No,
I
there
don't
you
know.
go. Hedge, and he's like, he just has blue face paint on, like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, there. Ooh, that would be nice. But yeah. So obviously that's going to be one of the things. We're going to start with that. We're not going to make y'all wait for that. But we got a few more things obviously to get into AEW. Now, Smart, did you get to watch Wrestle Dream?
I sure did. I watched it Wednesday, so it took me a while to get around to watching it, but I watched it Wednesday. So I watched Wrestle Dream and Dynamite sort of like back to back, basically.
Dynamite, I watched. It was a little spotty watching last night. Again, we had these fucking horrible storms, and we had the storm. It started during the Tony Storm match.
Nah, appropriate.
It did, and I lost power, so I had it was spotty and shaky. It kept losing back internet, but I didn't get to watch the Edge thing until today. The last part of the show is what I missed, so I did get to see that today. So now Wrestle Dream, I actually did not watch. I just haven't had fucking time. I'm sorry. There's been scout stuff going on all week and all weekend. My son had his birthday party Sunday, and it's just been a rough week. And every night I've come home, it's been basically my wife is going to do scout stuff. So, hey, whatever. But I did see a few things. I definitely saw the debut of Adam Copeland, formerly Edge. That was definitely one thing I did see. And man, I'll tell you, Smark, people lost their fucking minds. They were calling this man a traitor, a backstabber.
I would kill to be able to take that things like that seriously. Like I want that kind of passion where I'm just like punching a fucking wall because Edge is on AEW. Like, give me some of that.
Everyone's like, oh God, this is what they bring out, a 49-year-old man. You know, it's funny. A few weeks ago, everybody lost their fucking mind for a 51-year-old man named The Rock on a one-off fucking little fucking, just showed up one time. But hey, who am I to talk, right?
Yeah, I mean, The Rock's never been in a movie with Kelsey Grammer.
No.
As far as I know, caveat there.
That's right. The Rock wasn't in Money Plane. Money Plane. That's right. No, he's not. Hey, whatever. Listen, I think this is actually a pretty cool fucking thing. I do. The guy gets to finish his career with the guy he broke in the business with.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all this is. Like, I don't see the point making it anything more personal than that. It's like, hey, my career is winding down. I'm going to spend the rest of it, however long that is, with my best friend. It's like, it's really not an AEW, WWE thing. If Christian was in a WWE, Edge would still be there. It's not really anything all that real.
I mean, God forbid anyone just be fucking happy for the guy for doing what he wanted to do, making a move, a new journey for him. No. He gets this guy over at Jobber Nation TV, who really had a rough go of things when Edge moved over there. He says, if I'm WWE, I would seriously consider removing Edge from the Hall of Fame ASAP.
Dear God, hopefully they keep Coco Beware.
Yeah, I know. I mean, all these guys that are in the Hall of Fame that are going, my God, I mean, it's not like you can work somewhere else and stay in the Hall of Fame. My Lord.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if WWE as a company was that petty. I'll say that much. But I'm not going to sit here and be a fan and be like, they should remove him from the Hall of Fame.
No. I mean, WWE has said he's welcome back if he ever wants to come back, but I don't think Edge will be. He, even the article we're about to read, he wants to finish his career with Christian and AEW. It's not a fucking problem. So here, I guess we'll start with that a little bit. Let me go ahead and pop this up on the big screen here. Oh, not that. That's the wrong page. That's the right one right there. Okay, here we go. We can start with that right there. There we go. Adam Copeland. There we go. He expects to end his full-time career with AEW. But he did say retirement was a real option after his last match, which is understandable. I'm sure he had a few options, but I'm sure Tony Khan backed up the truck for him. Someone's trying to sell me Bitcoin, I think, Smark. Or did I lose Smark? Oh, I did. I lost Smark. Sorry, folks. I thought someone was trying to sell me Bitcoin again, and Smark dropped off. What, did you hit the wrong button?
No, it's weird. No, there was two different windows open for calls from you. And I went to try to get rid of that one and it ended up fucking everything up. So
that's all right. It was only a few seconds. No big deal, man. No big deal. But yeah, we are over here once again, jumping back into the conversation about Adam Copeland. We're not calling him Edge anymore. That's gonna be tough, man. We've been calling this guy Edge for 21 years.
Hmm.
I mean, it's going to be a little tough to shake calling the guy Edge. And it's really easier to say than Adam Copeland.
It's going to be harder for the people on commentary. And it doesn't cost us anything if we fuck up his name. But,
No.
you say it enough times, you end up getting yourself a lawsuit on your hands.
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. That's not gonna be us. That's not gonna be us. But he was on with CBS Sports for a little while, and he had a few things to say. And one of the things he had to say about kind of his retirement and stuff, and they asked him about this run being his last, and he said, "I think that's a very safe thing to say because I know how much work it's going to take to be able to pull it off." Copeland told CBS Sports. "I know that. I'm not in any way trying to fool myself into thinking I'm just going to trot through this whole thing. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of work. I enjoy hard work. I always have. It's how I'm wired. It's what I was born with. It's in my DNA. All right, we get it. We fucking get it. Oh, so that's super fun. But I'm also a realist, and I understand that I'm not going to be able to maintain it for a super long time. All right. Realist is good. Realist is good. So there you go. But he did say, as I got closer to the end of the deal, retirement was a very, very real option. It was not off the table, Copeland said. I really sat with the idea of retirement because I truly thought, like, man, WWE gave me that night. I don't know how that's supposed to get topped, and that's still in my brain. But I guess now it's like, okay, how can I try and top it in this new environment? Honestly, that Toronto show was a send-off to that character, and it was the perfect way for that character to go out. Wrestling a guy I've never wrestled that I've always wanted to. It was just so much fun in there that night. I'll never forget it. I'll always have that night with me. I told Sheamus that too. That will be one of the most special nights in my career, always." So there you go. So, does make sense. He did actually think of retiring. I could see that, thinking, hey, I'm not going to get any better night than that. No one is going to give me a better send-off than that. But hey, I guess, this is going to be a different kind of, he said that was a send-off to that character. So, but, so what do you think so far, Smark?
Yeah, I mean, I could understand that, not really knowing exactly what it was that he wanted to do. And I mean, it is something hard when you have like this big show like dedicated to you. They go out of their way to, like you said, send you off the best way they possibly could. It's like, maybe I should just call it. But if you want to do more, you're not going to be able to get younger. So you might as well just go ahead and do this.
Wait,
If you have any ounce of you that still wants to keep doing this shit, then just go ahead and do it.
You're saying we don't get younger?
Not yet. Technology is advancing, though.
Oh, well, thank God there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and he was asked about wrestling with his good friend, Christian, Jay, as he called him. And he had this to say on that, folks. "If we could end this together, that's the dream," Copeland said of working with Cage, real name Jay Race. I'd call that Reso. Reso? Reso.
I think it's Russo, but I'm not sure. Like, I know how it's spelled, but I think yeah.
Yeah, Reso. You guys figure it out. I sat down with my girls and I'm like, okay, so what does Dad do, girls? What do I do? And I laid out the scenarios for him. Lyric said it, and then Ruby agreed. Go be with Uncle Jay and have fun. And that doesn't mean that I'm not having fun in other places. Throw that in there real quick. But they know the most fun I'm going to have is with my best friend of the last 40 years. Fucking awesome, man. I just don't see how anyone could be,
I think that says something about the family dynamic for two different wrestlers, because there's a whole big storyline right now based on, I don't know if it's storyline or it's real life, but based on like Bryan Danielson might be retiring soon because his daughter wants him to retire. And like Edge's daughter's like, please go back to work. Please, for the love of God, go to Impact. We don't care. Fucking CZW, do what you need to do. Just fucking go.
CCW.
That would
That's
actually be
awful.
pretty great.
Here's a few quick pictures of what the debut looked like. It was a great debut. He came out. Smart, obviously, it was during the Christian. Christian was down there with the chair. He was trying to hit Darby and Sting, and the lights go out. Because Tony loves shutting those fucking lights off, man. He loves pulling that fucking switch.
I'm gonna run up the electric bill that way.
I know he's probably that's what he's counting. That's what he's got. Okay, it's been 15 seconds. There we go. Okay, we just saved $8. Fuck yeah, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah, boys. We did it. That's it. Wrap it up. Okay. But anyway, lights go out, pop back on, and all you hear is the familiar, "You think you know me." And then the music hits. The actual Metalingus song that he was using over in WWE. Now, there was... people were a little confused because not only is he using the same song, Smark, but he's using, the rated R superstar thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they're selling t-shirts at shopaew.com, the rated R era Adam Copeland. Now, obviously, they're not using Edge. They're keeping the superstar name out of it because WWE does, I probably have a trademark on the word superstar. So there's a smart move, but rated R. And people were, again, lost their fucking minds. How can they use the rated R? Well, WWE abandoned that trademark back in 2020. Rated R superstar for all the good stuff and, for t-shirts and all that stuff. So David Bixenspan even put out a tweet. Oops, WWE hasn't had an active trademark for rated R superstar since April 2020. So they just bought it up. That's all. AEW just bought the trademark. So now they have the trademark. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's kind of cool. But it looks like Edge is trademarking some more stuff there, Smark.
Mm-hmm.
He filed for the trademarks Legend. I don't see that one going through. Cope? Guess you have to cope with Copeland? Are we coping with Adam Copeland? Is that what we're fucking doing here?
Mm-hmm. Gonna have to speak to a therapist.
Oh boy, I hope not. The Rogue. I don't like that. That sounds like a shitty B movie that he's starring in next.
With Kelsey Grammer. They're getting the team back together.
No, not even with Kelsey Grammer. No. It wouldn't be Kelsey Grammer. It'd be like some off-brand, like the guy from Seinfeld, George Costanza,
Wesley Senen Structure.
Oh, what's his name? Alexander.
Oh God, Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander. That it would be him instead. The Rogue. Yeah, I could. There you go. That sounds like a horrible B cop buddy film.
It's terrible.
And Iconoclast. I said that right. Iconoclast. Yeah.
Iconoclast.
What?
Iconoclast. Yeah, you said it right.
Or is it?
I'm supporting you.
Or is it no? Yeah, because the other one would be iconic with an I. Iconoclast.
That's not a thing unless he's trying to make it a thing.
I'm a little confused. Leave me the fuck alone. All right?
It happens.
Leave me alone. Anyhow, he is filing for a bunch of trademarks. Listen, the one thing we always heard about Edge and Christian is they've been incredibly smart with their money. They weren't out partying with it. They weren't blowing it on stupid stuff. They weren't buying strip malls that went bankrupt. Big Show.
Wow.
It was
Shot across the bow. They're not staring at their own shitty Netflix show that gets canceled after one season.
Right. You see where I'm going here. They've been smart with their money, and this is just probably another way for him to make more money on trademarks. Hey, Whatever he's going to do, we'll probably see it. I can't wait to, like I said, we're going to have to cope with Copeland.
The Rogue.
Yeah, and the Rogue. We're going to have to go, have the Rogue go cope with Copeland. Oh, fuck all this shit.
We're going rogue. That's what we're doing.
Oh, shit. We're going rogue on Copeland. We're coping.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm done. We've driven that into the ground. Done. We stomped on it. It's done. It's done. But when it comes down to the intro, the voice at the beginning wasn't the usual voice we're used to hearing. It was actually a different voice. And that voice actually, Smark, you know who it was? Do you?
Probably somebody within his inner circle, daughter, wife.
That was actually Beth Phoenix doing that. That was still Alter Bridge, the Metalingus.
I was gonna say, wow, she's really talented.
No,
sounded just like the song.
Nope. Just the "You Think You Know Me" part at the beginning was her, or "You Think You Know Him," I guess is what she said. I thought it was "You Think You Know Me." It is "You Think You Know Me."
But Jesus Christ, you are a fucking sorcerer. So I'm talking to you. I'm paying attention, watching the game in the background. You mentioned Jason Alexander. Guess who just fucking showed up in a commercial for visible cell phones, which I assume is just something that like drug dealers own.
Dude, it's the exact commercial I was thinking of that I saw last night on AEW. So yes, exactly. Yeah, there you go. I've never heard of that phone service, by the way. And it was "You Think You Know Me" in WWE, and she did sing "You Think You Know Him" in this song. So a little different, a little something to get used to. But I did not know that back in November of 2021, Beth Phoenix as Beth Copeland put out an album.
I knew that because guess who was playing bass for her?
Oh, who?
Hulk Hogan, of course.
Hulk Hogan, that's right. Man, why didn't I think of that? But
I want that to be the new lie, is that Hulk Hogan is like, at one time I was going to be the bassist for Alter Bridge, brother.
And no, this is like we're talking about Beth Copeland here, sir.
Yeah, you said she put out her solo record in 2021.
2021 called Stone Rose and Bone.
You think it was better than the Lillian Garcia album?
I never heard the Lillian Garcia album, but I will say
no one did. That sold very poorly.
No, I don't know how. This one is on all the streaming. If you do want to listen, it's only 4 songs, 11 minutes long. And I'll tell you, the first song I did listen to it. If I'm not going to play it because we'll get copyright strike, but not bad. She has a great voice. I'll be honest. She does have a good voice, but pretty good stuff. Not too bad.
Now, is it better or worse than the Vin Diesel music that we played a few months ago?
Better.
Fair enough.
Better. I'd rather listen to Beth sing. She has a nice voice. It's not, she's not, it's not metal. It's kind of like, kind of upbeat, folky kind of music.
Interesting.
But good. It was good. I listened to this first one, Women Behaving Badly. It was really upbeat. I clicked on the second one, little slower of a song, I Still Got You, but not too bad, man. Not too bad at all. Like I said, she has a very nice voice. So, hey, Stone, Rose, and Bone, if y'all want to look it up, by Beth Copeland. It's on all the streaming. I'm looking at it right here on Spotify. So, there is that right there. It sounds like my kids are still awake and my wife is arguing with them for some reason. Don't know why.
Well, there you go.
But, yeah, so, I mean, I guess just kind of wrap up this whole Adam Copeland thing. I really can't believe people lost their minds like they did, but this just shows, it just proves that there's a problem. There really is a problem. When you're not just happy for a guy, for wanting to go somewhere, for doing what his daughters wanted him to do, is go have fun, for wanting to be with his best friend of 40 fucking years, to want to go have fresh matches, to be able to have matches that were legendary. The fucking Hardy Boys are there. Christian and Edge are, well, Christian and Adam are back together. I mean, there could be a lot of fun shit going down in AEW for Edge. Adam, God, this is going to be tough for me.
There's like 20 people in AEW named Adam at the moment, so that's going to be fun for the commentators.
Yeah, I know. They probably should. Maybe they're just going to call him Copeland in a few months.
Well, yeah, Cope, the Rogue.
The Rogue. Cope the Rogue.
Ooh.
Sounds like you're doing something to a car. It's awful.
Maybe he'll have like more like a Dungeons and Dragons thing going on. He'll just be the Rogue. He'll come out with like a fucking dagger, be dressed like an elf.
That could be. That could be. You never know.
Could be.
That could be. That'd be fun. Little ears.
Do you think now that everybody's talking about what their daughters tell them on television, old Dax is going to get like pretty buttsore? Because like everybody's stealing his gimmick now, but his daughters are probably more likable. The other people's daughters are probably more likable, I should say.
I don't know.
I feel like his daughter just looks like him. She's like 8 years old. She's bald.
Beth and him kind of keep their kids out of the limelight. I've never really.
This is true.
I've never really like seen their kids. I'm sure they've been at a show or two, and we don't really watch WWE much, but I don't think he puts him in the limelight as much as Dax just does. I mean, he just throws it out there every time, and the Young Bucks even call him out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know.
There was like a series of like 2 or 3 feuds in a row where it's just every promo was just dedicated to people making fun of Dax for talking about his daughter. It was a great time to watch Dynamite.
And fucking Nick Jackson was like, "We know, dude, your family, your daughter, your love the wrestling people, the business. Yeah, we know, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
We fucking get it." But I think it's great the guy's over there, but like I said, it's a problem when you got so many people that are sitting there calling this backstabbing son of a bitch. People were throwing their Edge action figures away. Hey, just want to let you guys know the company already got their money. You can fucking fill that thing with cum for all their cares. I promise you.
Oh, they probably have.
I'm sure many of them have. No one would give a shit what you do after you bought it. Okay? So stop your all the craziness already, but I don't know. It seems to be dying down, but I just thought it was kind of just amazing that the same people that were sitting there losing their fucking minds over a 51-year-old man were making fun that a 49-year-old man was debuting in another company. I granted now The Rock wasn't come back to wrestle, but Edge has been active wrestling for the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're just talking about age, though, y'all were cheering a 51-year-old man, and we would like to cheer the 49-year-old man who is going to be actively wrestling again. And I think it's going to be pretty cool, man. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think there's going to be some good matches, man. Edge will put some of the young talent over first.
Sure.
He will. He will. And that's all I got for Edge. What about you, man?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he's going to do. I'm always interested to see what people from WWE or people that have been WWE for a long time do when they're out, just for the sake of like, it doesn't seem like they meddle so much in matches anymore, but just like to see how they wrestle, if they wrestle any differently, to see like how they cut their promos, how they, market their characters or how they change their characters. Just, to see the whole, how the presentation basically as a whole changes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, he says this is a whole new journey for him, so we all get to watch it on television. How's that sound, Smark?
There you go. We're going to take the journey together.
There
Hopefully
you
we
go.
can stop halfway down the road to get some snacks and maybe go to the bathroom along the way, but...
There you go. It's a journey.
Mm-hmm. Don't stop.
Don't stop.
Believing.
Believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light. People. I think he's back singing for them again. Steve Perry.
Very good.
The original singer, Steve Perry, is back. He had from what I remember, he had a bad degenerative hip disease that he could still sing, but he wouldn't have been able to be on stage and do what he wanted. So He was out for a good long while, and I guess he's back to kicking ass and taking names. But as far as I've seen, I believe he's back singing with the group again.
Right.
Good to have the originals, all the originals together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know one of the only groups to go from start to finish, like until from the 70s to the mid 2020s? There's only one group that had all their members from start to finish.
Okay.
ZZ fucking Top.
Well, that's the benefit of only having 3 members, yeah.
They never fucking switched one of them until, I mean, that's kind of over now. I think they had Dusty's. Once Dusty passed, it was Dusty. It was Dusty who passed. They did have his son play a couple of gigs in the beginning, and
Cody?
no, people were not very happy with it. So I think they just kind of let's
The
just.
Sharp Dreads man, baby.
Ooh, she got legs. Woo-hoo, daddy.
She knows how to use them.
Oh yeah.
She look a bit like Starfire.
I got your polka dots right here, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Ah. Oh God, I miss
You
Dusty.
speaking, I guess since we're talking about ZZ Top, as a brief aside, not really ZZ Top, but the song. Do you remember when they gave the Kid Rock cover version of Legs as like she was Stacy Keibler's theme song?
Yes, I do.
And that was a moment in time.
That was a moment in time. I liked Kid Rock. Listen, I admit to liking really bad movies. I also liked douchey music. Also, that doesn't surprise anybody. If anyone's listened to the movie podcast, I've done a few of the shows on music. So, but yeah, I listened to all that Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit and Disturbed, and I don't know. I've said this many times on the show. I love fucking hard ripping guitar.
There you go.
I just fucking love it, and hard, like, real fucking good percussion too. That's why I like the Marilyn Manson. They got that percussion. Slipknot, same thing. They got the fucking percussion going on. But yeah, I love fucking listening. I love guitar. I love fucking drums and shit.
This drummer in particular is pretty cool. She was a lady.
Oh, was it now?
Yeah, it was a. She was on like 1 or 2 of his songs, like in the early days. I had stopped listening after like the first or second CD, but she did it. She like rapped on one of his songs. I remember that. It's called "Welcome to the Party." I think it was that she was on.
Huh. Things I don't notice.
Mhm.
Like I told you, man, I just kind of listen and whatever. I don't know. I really just haven't listened to music in so long. It's just still the same music I do listen to now. I mean,
I try to stay fairly current. Try to listen to some new music because, like, I think we talked about this off air, but like when I was younger, like everybody that I was around would just like after a point they just gave up on just listening to new music, and I don't blame them necessarily because there's a lot of shitty new music, but there's a lot of shitty old music too. So I mean, it is what it is, and I made a promise to myself when I was a kid that I was going to try to stay at least somewhat up to date with like the current music that's going on. So every now and again, I'll listen to a new artist or a new album or whatever, and just sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I gave up on the new music. I got into listening to talk radio. That's really what happened.
That's a thing too. I spend a lot of time listening to podcasts and stuff.
Well, this was before podcasts. This was like I've said, I mean, like I talked about on the movie show when I did the one on talk radio shows. I started listening to real radio, WZZR 94.3, and they had, I mean, from the time you woke up, they were playing who was that? Lex and Terry, and then the Love Doctors would come on. Then after the Love Doctors, you had Josh Cohen, and then after that, you had some crazy guy called the Greek, who was basically a degenerate gambler. But my God, the guy made millions off gambling.
Yeah, about Jimmy the Greek.
No, it was just called The Greek.
Because there was a Jimmy the Greek that also
Right.
did that.
I remember Jimmy the Greek. He said a few things that probably would not fly today. Really didn't fly back then either. But anyway.
No, he very much got in trouble. I remember watching a documentary about that. It didn't work for him then either. So,
No, and it wouldn't work now.
Now, are the Love Doctors, is that different from Love Line?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The Love Doctors was a guy named oh my God. How am I forgetting this guy's name?
Can't help you.
It was a guy named Glenn and Doctor. Oh my God, I forgot the guy's name. I'll remember it. I'll remember it when it's completely not a point to remember it, but I'll remember it eventually.
Yeah, when you remember it, just send me the name on Messenger. I'll have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Don't add any context. We'll just see how well I pay attention.
Yeah, I could just really grab my phone and just put in the Love Doctors, and it would probably pull it right up, and I would figure out exactly Doctors. Oops, that's a D, not an S. The Love Doctors, Real Radio, West Palm Beach. It was Dr. Glenn and Dr. Oh, Jesus. And then there was a show. Dano was another show on there. I used to literally go, Dr. Rich. I used to go to like bars to see these guys live. Because they'd be down in Boca Raton where I lived. They'd be down in Deerfield where I worked. So I would go hang out and drink a few beers after work and listen to these people live. Pretty cool. It was pretty cool, but I got really into listening to talk radio. I got a bunch of my friends listening to talk radio. A bunch of them.
I listened to some shows. Like, I remember I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I listened to Love Line just because they talked about like naughty things that I wasn't allowed to hear.
Naughty.
So I was like, I'm having sex with my boyfriend. I'm like, yeah, you are. Yeah.
Naughty
Tell me
things.
more. Tell me more.
I remember listening to that though back in the day, Love Line.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
That's before Dr. Drew was all over fucking everything.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was just it was a really good channel to listen to. You could listen, like I said, you could literally listen from morning when you woke up, the morning zoo, and on the ride home, you were listening to Josh Cohen, who had a co-host named Lexus, who actually posed for Playboy Online. You can actually see pictures of her. If you type in Lexus Real Radio, go look for the Playboy pics, folks. Sure, they're somewhere.
I feel like that's a backhanded compliment where it's like, all right, we want you to pose, but you're not quite good enough for the magazine.
It was when they were really pushing this was like AOL was ending, internet was popping up. They were pushing their online shit. So, but I mean, they did like the Girls of Hooters online and the Girls of this and the Girls of that, and she was on the Girls of Radio.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you want to, but she was very pretty girl. But yeah, and you could just listen. I listened. I would sit there, had that on, and I would listen to that until, I would sit there and play poker online and listen to that until fucking like 1 a.m. And then leave it on when I went to sleep. Wake up, it was still on. So
there you go.
Yeah, man, it was I just really got into talk radio, but I definitely didn't just give up on music. It wasn't anything like that because I still love music, but But anyway, completely on another topic. But since we did talk about the debut of Edge and AEW, little thing still on everybody's mind still is the Jade Cargill signing, and she's been playing the heel on Twitter pretty well with the stuff. It looks like she might be going to Raw, but Dave Meltzer with a I hit the wrong button there, folks. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Dave Meltzer with just an unbelievable Smark. I can't believe the take he has here.
Let's see.
Kind of, yeah, that's basically it, Smark. He was on his show, Wrestling Observer Radio. This is right off of Wrestling Inc., ladies and gentlemen. And he spoke about the move to WWE, and he said they really want to make this a big one. Meltzer said they see star power in her because of her look and her presence. She's not going to be the last person to do this. There's a lot of inevitabilities. There'll be people going in both directions. So what he's saying, Smark, is some people may go from AEW to WWE. Some people in WWE may just go to AEW.
Well, holy shit. And some people might watch, and some people might not watch.
That's right. Exactly, Smart. See, you're onto this now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Look, I do agree with the first part of it. I'm sure they do see a star in Jade Cargill. Me and you have both said the same thing about her. It's written all over her. Her face.
But for real, but like they're talking about there might be she's not going to be the only person. Hey, I did a Meltzer there where I just started mumbling and stammering incoherently. She's not going to be the first person or the only person that does this. But like, how many other homegrown talents, especially females, do they have? Because they have Sky Blue. It seems like that would be the next biggest like in-house star that they have. Julia Hart, but I mean that's kind of it. Like I don't really see them clamoring for some Willow Nightingale action.
No, and I don't think it's women he's talking about. I just think he's talking about some of the talent in general. I mean, listen, everybody's been definitely saying that Wardlow and Hobbs definitely might have a better shot over in WWE. Then last night they both get a little push, which we'll talk about later. So it's a little weird. I don't know if Tony's maybe opening his eyes. This should open his fucking eyes right now. You don't use someone the way they want to be used. You don't use someone to their potential. Guess what? There are other opportunities out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ricky Starks is another one they've talked about going to WWE, which I'm not so sure about. He's young, though. WWE could leave him in AEW for the next 5 years and then bring him in. Or he could go to WWE for the next 5 years and still go back to AEW. The guy's young. He could still do that. Who was the other one people were talking about that I'm thinking of? I completely forgot. I'll probably remember that later, too.
I mean, even though he's the champion right now, I mean, there's still MJF is always on the table. I mean, maybe some of that isn't work, but I mean, it's also a possibility. They throw enough money at the guy, he's probably going to say yeah.
I don't see them wanting an MJF. WWE. I really don't. I just don't. And I'm telling you guys now, watch what you wish for. You are not going to get the smart ass MJF we love. We know. You are not going to get our scumbag in WWE. You're going to get our fun bag. You want that?
Mm-hmm.
You want our fun bag? No.
Plus, I mean, Vince is so out of it that he could probably just like he starts watching AEW and he forgets that he had that roster at one point. Oh man, that John Moxley.
Oh yeah,
like,
that guy.
Wonder if he was a hot dog card. I got this idea. I'm gonna put him in a gas mask.
And you know what's funny? I hear people talk, oh man, they should really pick up Brian Cage. I'm like, who wants to tell him?
I forget that too sometimes, to be fair. I know that he was part of their developmental for a minute, but yeah. I mean, so is Kenny Omega, though, too.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the roster, has gone over there, tried, and some will go back. Of course, as Meltzer says, there will be more.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is pretty obvious. We're seeing it. Cody went to WWE. You know, a couple people have come on over to WWE now. We got, Edge over there. Moxley, like you said. So, I don't know, man. I think she will definitely be a star. I definitely see them wanting to make this one a big one. She definitely has that potential. Her look, just the way she acts, her body, everything about her.
I wonder how much of that is like some of that. I wonder if some of that is like a wake up call on their end of like when Sasha bounced. If it was like, you know what, maybe we need to shore up some of our, because I mean, you think about like Charlotte's been there for fucking ever at this
Yep.
point. She's eventually going to want to do other things. Bailey gets injured from time to time. I mean, it's inevitable for everybody, but that's something to think about as everybody gets older. You're going to need new people after a while, so maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Charlotte may actually want to be with her husband. I think they're.
Well, we don't know if she
I
does or if she
don't
doesn't.
know if they're still married or not. I don't give a shit.
I don't either, I assure you.
I don't care if they are or not. Please, who cares? But I mean, many people may just decide they don't want to work that WWE schedule anymore.
Right.
It could happen. You never know. You just don't know. Um, but one person who has a different take on this whole Jade Cargill thing, Smark,
Mhm.
is the one we love. We do love him. That's right. Freddie himself, Freddie Prinze Jr. Well, when he heard Jade Cargill was going over to the dub, he had a little different take, and he kind of compared her with another AEW star. And he said, now between the two main women there, and he meant in AEW, Jade Cargill and Britt Baker, I think Britt is the better wrestler on the mic all around, Prince said. She has more experience, obviously. I honestly think she would kill it in WWE. She is everything that company wants in a wrestler. She is the total package. She has an awesome submission for her finisher. She's really good on the mic, and she can get other people over. She's not the only one looking good out there. I really like Britt Baker. So I like Jade. He continues. So I like Jade, but I don't think she would do as well over there. I think she would get lost in their hype, and it would just be squash matches and those almost matches. But Britt, on the other hand, I think would be up there with a Charlotte Flair, who we just talked about. They would be wrestling back and forth for the world. I can't read tonight, for the world championship. That's about the end of it right there, folks. But okay, I see where he's going here, but how do I put this? Britt is Britt's a dime a dozen in WWE.
Yeah.
I really don't know how else to say that in any other way. She's blonde. She's bubbly. She would fit right in. She might fit too much in to a WWE. Jade Cargill stands out. She is different looking. She is built different than most of those women. She looks different. She acts different. She's a standout. I see what he's saying here, but I think a Britt Baker would get thrown right into the NXT shuffle of the other blonde women who all look alike anyway.
Right.
So I don't think he's looking at it through the right eyes in this one. Just talent for talent, okay, the guy's got a point. But if you really think at what WWE looks for, I'm not saying WWE is shallow, Smark. I'm just saying most of their girls over there are blonde with fake boobs.
I mean, that's fair though. Like she's more talented potentially. I will say this though, like I've seen her have better matches, but I've also seen her have worse matches than Jade. Because that match, I've never seen Jade have a match quite like that fucking match Britt had with Taya. That was god awful.
That
Like,
and
yeah, they were all squash matches, but she looked competent in all of them.
yeah, and that fucking that dentist thing with Big Swole.
Yeah, I kind of liked that. It was
Oh
a different time because everybody was doing the gimmick. It was pandemic. Everybody was doing the fucking cinematic, wacky stipulation scenery
it was so
venue type
bad.
matches.
It was so
But
bad.
Yeah, but like in a fun way, like kind of like that zombie match with fucking Miz and Damian Priest.
Come on. It was just
Yeah.
bad.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, okay, she's talented, but like she's not so much more talented than like the top handful of people that they had there. Like, is she that much more talented than like Rhea Ripley? Not really. She's that much more talented than Bailey? Not really. Asuka? Not really. Like, she doesn't do enough to stand out, and she's not significantly more talented than the top people that they have there right now, anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, Adam Cole just came from that system. I'm sure he's talked it up so well to her that she would just leave and go right over to. No, I
Right.
don't see it. But again, I do see where he's coming from. Talent for talent, okay. But look for look, I mean, Jesus Christ. Britt Baker could walk into a room and you might not look up. Jade Cargill walks into a room. I guarantee all eyes are on her.
Mhm.
I fucking guarantee it. That you don't have, you can't not look at her. She's just amazing. You just can't not look at Jade and just look at her and go, holy shit, this girl might be a star. You never know. But anyway, um,
I'm trying so hard not to be Beam.
to what?
I said I'm trying so hard not to be Beam because you're like, oh, if Britt Baker walks in the room, would you even look up? I'm like, yeah, because I'm gonna need her to move her head because her nose is blocking my light.
Oh,
Like, ma'am, if you could just a little bit to the left or right, either way. I'm trying to read.
you know what I'm saying.
Well,
Yep.
see, there you go. That might give her the edge, no pun intended, in WWE because Triple H might feel some kinship.
Oh, Jesus.
Or like they just take pictures, Triple H is pointing at her nose, she's pointing at Triple H's nose.
They'd have her out there as the schnoz.
Mm-hmm. That would be her gimmick, is that she would be like she's Triple H's daughter from the future, like she's a time traveler.
Oh, she'd come out with a Gonzo doll.
Mm-hmm.
Not.
Actually, I don't know how old Triple H's daughter is nowadays. She might be getting close to being able to wrestle, but that's what you do. You just make her a time traveler. She's Triple H's and Stephanie's daughter from like the year 2033 or something. I don't know.
I would say I think you're onto something here, but I'd be
I mean, this is the same company that was going to make fucking Ken Kennedy Vince's son. So like, this isn't that outrageous of an idea.
like I said, I would say you're onto something, but I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah, we'll see
Okay.
in 3 years when that contract is up. I don't know when her contract's actually up.
Oh shit, Spark.
Mm-hmm.
You got a couple. Go ahead with one of them, my man.
Do have a couple.
You do.
All right. Well, we're talking about AEW. You're talking about female talent, homegrown talent. I mentioned her earlier. Julia Hart and Lee Johnson are reportedly set for some time off from AEW and Ring of Honor in the near future. Fightful Select is reporting that the engaged couple, those lucky kids, will be away from the company as they celebrate their upcoming wedding and honeymoon. Hart revealed the couple's engagement during an appearance on the AEW Unrestricted podcast in October 2022. There's more to this article, but it won't pop up. So that's really all you need to know. They're going to be taking time off because they're tying the knot and then tying each other up in knots. They're going to be having fun.
Oh, it actually says Hart has been one of the most active wrestlers on the roster. It kind of gets in her little her career a little bit on the show. That's really about it. It doesn't really say much more. But yeah, it was said she is going to take some time off. Not quite sure why, but I guess she wants to take some time off. I guess she deserves it. Does she not?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. And listen, that segment did very well last week. So, hey, everyone loves Julia Hart, I guess.
No, she's doing well for herself. Like we were talking about last week, she was starting to kind of come into her own with the whole House of Black gimmick and all of that. She's starting to feel more like she belongs there and look more like she belongs there.
Yeah, because
So she's been doing good last couple of weeks, but take a little bit of time off. Like they said, they didn't really say how long. We talk about like 2 or 3 weeks. It doesn't have to be anything significantly long, just some time to and spend enjoying her life.
yeah, because no one really thought it made sense when they brought her in. This cheerleader type girl. They brought her into the House of Black, and then I'll tell you, man, she quickly fell right into that
Hmm.
and has really just embraced the role. I mean, she's done really well, and had a couple good matches lately, and the crowd seems to really be taking to her, which is even better.
Right.
Even the even the internet likes her.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that she was going to pick up the win at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, yeah, did well, doing very
It's got a
well.
pretty real nice moonsault.
Yeah, didn't see that whole match. I'm sorry. I did see a
Yeah,
piece
I mean,
swept
that's
up.
sort of one of her go-to moves. Though she does a real nice moonsault.
Very nice. Went to close an article or not close an ad, and it brought me to a horrible article. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. But so Smark.
Hmm.
Well, anyway, I mean, good for Julia Hart.
Yeah, good for them. I will say though, I don't know if it's an indictment on Lee Johnson and his tenure in AEW. I had to look up who he was because I was like, I know that name, but I could not put face to name because like
Yeah.
I've seen him wrestle before. He's been on Dynamite a time or
Uh
two.
huh. Uh huh.
For whatever reason, I was thinking of I can't remember his name either, but the guy there used to be a guy with a similar name, I think, that they would like he would do reports during Nitro. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, and I can't think of the name.
Feel like it was a very similar name.
Very
Let's see if I
similar.
can find it up. I'm going to look up the WCW Wikipedia, see if I can figure it out.
Go ahead, and I'll jump on this little quick little story here about someone we do like talking about on this show, Mr. Eddie Kingston. That's right, folks. Eddie Kingston was on a podcast. You see old Eddie right there. Good picture, good picture. And he was on the Ad Free Shows podcast. Seemed to be getting a lot of articles on this show. I've really never heard about it.
Those are Conrad shows.
It
Ugh,
is it?
I think so.
Of course it is. Well, he was asked about Terry Funk's comments that the wrestling industry will eventually circle back around to a more kayfabe style business. And Kingston agreed, but he did elaborate on why he agreed. And for that, here we go. Kingston said, I think that the business is going backwards in a sense of you guys, the fans. You know everything already. You know the magic. You know there's bookers. It's all been exposed for years now. And I was a fan at that time when it was being exposed. And I was so into it because we had never seen that before. I remember ECW, they were talking shit about WCW, and WCW was talking about WWF or whatever. And I had never seen that before because when I grew up in the 80s and early 90s, they did not talk. Not the big companies, maybe the lower territories that I was getting, but the big companies never did. So everything got exposed. Cool. You know everything now. I believe people are done with it. People don't want to hear us on Twitter bitching and moaning about what's going on backstage. People don't want to know how much fun I had with my opponent that night in the ring. I believe they want to see that. No, we still don't like. I believe that they want to see that know we still don't like each other. They want to be lost. Let's stop there real quick and
Mhm.
kind of start with that little chunk of it right there. What do you think? Well, first of all, do you think the business will cycle back to a more, they use the word kayfabe style business? Do you think that?
Not universally. I think some people will. I mean, that's kind of what MJF is doing. He's trying to, keep his character intact. So some people will, but then some people love just sort of going into detail about their personal lives and all of the stuff that happens backstage and posting it on their Twitter and YouTube vlogs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have a very hard time thinking that it's going to go back at all to any sort of kayfabe. You are going to get some characters that want to try to still keep it kayfabe, if you will, but few and far between. More people want to be like Dax, go out there and talk
Hmm.
about their family, than want to be like MJF, because MJF gets a lot of shit for the thing he does. Even as a babyface, he still gets a lot of shit for some of the things he says. And I mean, technology is just getting somehow better and better and better. And he's right. We do know everything, and it's going to just keep getting worse. I really
See,
believe that.
I don't mind it so much when it comes to things like a Twitter or, like I said, like the vlogs that they do on YouTube, shit like that, because you can choose whether or not you want to follow those people, whether or not you want to consume that content.
Right.
I don't like it so much when, like, and AEW has kind of let off the gas pedal on that, but there was a while there where like almost every storyline like had some shoot component to it or was presented as some kind of shoot component.
Yeah.
And it's just like after a while, I do want to watch a TV show for the sake of the TV show. It's like tell me a story. Like I know that not the majority of people that are feuding don't actually dislike each other, but let's have some fun with this shit, you know?
Yeah. And you know, next part of the little article there I'll bring up for you guys. He actually compares it, pro wrestling, to the Marvel cinema. He doesn't really compare it. He actually kind of just uses an example here, more or less. He says, and I'll put it in this sense: the Marvel movies, whether they're good or bad, there's been a lot of bad lately, right? They still make millions to billions of dollars. Now imagine, and I'll use this example, Eddie says, imagine if Captain America stopped in the middle of the whole fucking movie and said, hey man, I didn't really kick that guy's ass. We're actually going out later. I respect, it says two shit. I respect the shit out of him. He's the stunt man. And then they will go, okay, back to the action. It would ruin it, he says. So I believe now people want to go back to, I guess you can say, the kayfabe days. You know what I mean? And the reason why I kind of believe that too is I'm not going to put over Chris Jericho. People are like, how was your feud? What do you mean? I hated him for 7 months. It was the worst time of my life.
Mm.
So there you go.
He does a good job with that because, like, the feud that he has with Claudio, they've been feuding forever and a day,
Right.
and he swears up and down that he hates the man, and like, I don't think he actually does, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Like, he does a good enough job to where you're like, maybe he does.
Right.
And that is the thing, and you're gonna laugh at me. A lot of people are gonna laugh at me. He came from that Chikara system.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it is fucking ridiculous. You have wrestling ants and boars and all kinds of wrestling ice creams. They do all this ridiculous shit. And in order to make that work on any level, they had to actually present it in a way that was actually like somewhat serious.
Yep.
Like they didn't just look at you and go, this is all stupid. You're a fucking idiot for watching. They tried their best to create a separate world where this shit was feasible or was somewhat believable. So like he is going to be one of those people who is for sure committed to the idea of like trying to be as earnest as possible and not trying to sit there and be like wink wink nudge nudge. None of this shit is actually real. You're smart like the rest of us. He's actually trying to create that suspension of disbelief, and I applaud him for that.
Absolutely. And like I said, we're definitely going to get a few characters here and there that are going to do this. But going back to a more kayfabe day, you would need fans to not want to be the center of attention online, the center of attention, even when they go to a show. Sometimes you have those fans who just scream, yell, and try to take over the fucking show. But these fans online a lot of them think that like the wrestlers are watching and listening and reading. Most of them probably aren't. Probably aren't. But the fans want to be a part of everything. And unfortunately, every wrestling fan wants to show that they're a little smarter and smarkier than the other wrestling fan. So they all want to try to get in the backstage and try to see that and try to think they did it. And it's just, I don't see it ever going back to kayfabe, but I do see like I said, you're going to get the few and far between guys that will keep it kayfabe, and people like us will enjoy that.
Yeah, okay, I mean that's the thing is you can't universally just the same as you can't universally say that all the wrestlers are going to go back to doing that. Not all the fans are interested in trying to know everything and outthink, the promoter or the wrestler or whatever. That was one of the things that I liked about Lucha Underground was just that it was its own thing. It was a show. Like it
Right.
was more of a TV show than a wrestling. It had wrestling on it. There were some good matches, but like it was a TV show that used wrestling as a way to move stories along.
Absolutely. And it was awesome. It was fun to watch. But yeah, I just think everybody wants to be too much a part of the storyline, a part of the show, if you will. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And being online is their way to do that. Going and reading all the news and looking at this and watching shoot interviews and believing some of those guys aren't actually are really telling that some of those guys are fucking going kayfabe too on those. But
Yeah,
it's
and I mean that all goes back to what I was saying. I feel like it's one thing after the show
right.
if you want to like hear like, oh, how did that happen? Like how did this storyline come to be? How did this match, how did you build this match or whatever, that kind of stuff, all the like sort of inside the actor's studio type shit, like that's fun like after the show, but then like do the show, but like do the show earnestly and sincerely. And
Well,
then if people want to know the ins and outs and people want to provide that from them to them like in other avenues, like you said, the podcast and the shoot interviews and things like that, that's totally cool. But just
yeah,
like keep them separate.
when the feud is over.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I definitely see what he's saying here. You don't want two guys out there in the middle of the ring making each other fucking bleed, and they're showing themselves, 2 hours later, drinking beers and having dinner.
Right. Well, what's a good example of that is like I don't know if you like watched any of that shit, but like they did it for Breaking Bad and they did it for The Walking Dead, where they would show the episodes on AMC, and then after that there'd be like an hour long special where they would talk to like the actors or the writer, director, that kind of stuff, and they would talk about stuff that happened on the show and like the more technical aspect of it. But that was after, like you said, after the show, after the feud. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah, and that's when it should happen. Because, I 100% see Kingston's point here. And, kind of on the heels of that, Smark, you've got, we're sitting here talking about how the fans are reacting to everything. And we've got fucking Booker T, who is blaming the wrestling media insiders. He says they're killing the business. So it's like, everybody's got their little opinion, but this is a short one over here, folks. So I'll just go ahead and knock this out real fast. Um, Basically, he was talking about he was on his the Hall of Fame podcast, um, and he was basically just talking about wrestling media sites, and he says these sites are the sites that's killing the business. Booker said these sites are really what's wrong with the business today. You can agree to disagree with me on this. Now, this all came from the report. We didn't talk about this last week. I think it came out during the week that if Mustafa Ali wasn't released, he was supposed to win the WWE NXT North American Championship, and that was supposed to be the storyline with it.
hmm
Well, Booker T did not like that. The fact that it got out pissed him off, and this is kind of what brought on this little rant about his. Now that was the title was Trick Williams did win it at No Mercy over the weekend. I believe that was over the weekend, wasn't it? Yeah,
yeah, it was Saturday.
Saturday, right? Um, and here he goes, and he says, if any of this is true, and I guess they were kind of blaming leaks on how they got the story. Um, And he said, if any of this is true, I feel like WWE needs to ban guys like this from ever coming into one of their locker rooms or one of their shows ever again, Booker said. Booker, he said, because this is like giving away the ending of a movie for me. I don't know if you've got some insider information or not on how the show is going to go, but guys like this, these Meltzers, these Alvarezes, could have just said these Alvarez. And this guy that wrote this should never, ever be able to be a part of our business, ever. And I'm so passionate about that because, damn it, these guys, these are the guys that's killing the business. Daily writing stories like this. What the hell happened with Mustafa Ali? It happened. But this story is what's wrong with this business today, and guys like this should be banned from anywhere near one of our shows. Ooh, Booker laying into him. I got to admit, I'm a little surprised he called out Meltzer and Alvarez flat by name.
That's what I was thinking. It would be like, it would make me laugh. He was just like, I don't like any of these guys. I don't read or pay attention to anything that all these guys do. And he just names like all of them. It's like, I don't care about fucking Andrew Zarian, dog, or Denise Salcedo, or fucking Chris Van Vliet. I don't got a Sean Ross. He's like, I don't pay attention to any of this shit. Like, you just named all of them, Booker. All of them.
A Solid Monster guy.
There's these two idiots that go wrestling. I don't like those guys. I don't fucking lose
Don Tony.
Anyways.
Kevin Castle.
Don Tony.
Wrestling soup. What kind of soup is wrestling soup? Okay.
I'm more of an alphabet soup guy. But the funny thing about that is that shit was literally going on. Dave Meltzer specifically, maybe Alvarez, I don't know. But like when he was in WCW, this shit was going on. Like him, right. Booker T, like Hulk Hogan did a whole thing. It was the stupidest shit. Observe this, brother, and he fucking like ripped up a fucking like a physical copy of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It was just like this. Like nobody at the time, because this was like '95. Nobody at the time had any idea what the fuck he was talking about. And like Meltzer talked about that. It was like it was the best fucking advertisement I could have had. Because like at the time, like internet was still a somewhat new thing. And especially the idea of like wrestling news websites was
right.
You know, they were in their infancy as a concept.
Yeah. I mean, Norab here says Booker T is right. And he tells me Don Tony and Kevin Castle are on Patreon. Cool. Cool. Good. But Booker T is... He is right, but I do have to say, this wrestling media kind of keeps the business, I think it keeps it going more because you're getting people talking about it. Even the bullshit stories keep people talking. They get people talking. You know what, folks? You are smart enough to know what stories are bullshit and what are not. You can decide. You really can. You don't need someone telling you what stories are and aren't bullshit. You want to believe a bullshit story? You have the right to do that. That's just fine. It doesn't matter. But I think these guys keep buzz going. And without them, we'd be going back a little too far. I mean, what do you want to do? Go back to the fucking, 80s again? I mean, yeah, it'd be fun for a while, but can I bring my phone with me?
I mean, as long as we can also like have the cocaine promos.
Well, okay, those can come back. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, and what I think is killing the business more is the people leaking the information.
Yes.
We've said this before. Just like we said with the AEW things, Mark, you don't have to all be singing Kumbaya backstage, but you want to give the impression you are doing that. And with people leaking information, you just look like a bunch of fucking clowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they are worse for for any part of the business than what these wrestling news sites are. Who gives a fuck what these wrestling news sites are? There's a bazillion of them out there. So
Right.
who cares? Who cares?
I mean, it's wrestling is a form of entertainment, and in any entertainment industry, there are people that are reporting about it, that are talking about news and potential rumors and shit like that. That happens with movies, it happens with music, that happens with all forms of entertainment. So I don't understand why you wouldn't want wrestling to be a part of that, because it drives, to some degree, maybe a very small amount, but to some degree, it drives interest.
Yeah, that's like saying we should get rid of the National Enquirer and all those fucking tabloid magazines. No, we shouldn't. They're fun.
Hmm.
I love reading that fucking Angelina Jolie slept with an alien. I love reading about it.
Exactly.
And goddamn it, I hope it's true.
I do too. And I hope that
Dude,
she filmed it.
one
And
of the best fucking parts of going to the grocery store is standing in that goddamn aisle and looking at those fucking magazines still. I swear to God, I still love doing it. I do. I when I'm waiting, if the line's long enough, I'm flipping through.
it's kind of just comforting in a weird sense to know that they're still there. Just like how it's comforting to know that there's still like one blockbuster in existence.
Yeah, I think it's in like Alaska or something, right?
Oregon.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah, basically. There was a there was a documentary called The Last Blockbuster, and I think it was on Netflix. It might be somewhere else at this point, but I watched it, and it was kind of interesting.
Huh. That's cool. There is still one left, though. It means the company is still around. And actually, I think they have a headquarters here, somewhere downtown Dallas.
Well, what was interesting about it more than anything was that when Blockbuster came around, they put a lot of like small mom and pop video stores out of business.
Mm-hmm.
But now that there's literally only one Blockbuster left, it is a mom and pop business now. So it's
Yeah.
come full circle because it's just one small group of people that own it and one small community that it resides in.
Yeah. There's a that where my old house was. There was a little place called Family Video. Still
Yeah,
there. Yeah, still around, still there.
we had family videos still in Ohio.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, still around, man. Kicking ass, taking names.
It's family video. There was oh god, there's one called Video Update. There was Hollywood Video.
Yo, I definitely knew Hollywood Video. I had buddies working at Hollywood Video. I got many, many videos from Hollywood Video. Couple of pornos. They had a porn section.
Well, the funny thing is, for a while there, my mom was a manager at a video store.
Ah.
And she said that it was funny because it made her laugh because she could always tell just immediately who was there to rent porn. Because they always did the same fucking song and dance. They'd walk in, immediately look around, walk to like the new release aisle or whatever it is that's like adjacent to the porn section,
Yep.
pretend to look at a video, and then when they think they're not being watched, beeline to the porn section.
Yep. Sneak right in there and then look before you walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Coast is clear. Let's go.
Yeah, like you're trying, like you're doing, like you're fucking doing a bank heist.
Yeah. And you're doing nothing illegal. You're just creepy.
All you're doing is drawing more attention to yourself
Yeah.
because everybody can tell that you're acting weird.
Yeah. And all you're doing is just wanting to rent a video. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Although
folks.
to be fair, I kind of respect that because like if you just walk in just head held high with a swagger and you grab like big butt Brazilians 8 and then you just like fucking triumphantly march to the counter just arm outstretched, that makes you a monster. Like not the actual act of looking at it, that's we all do. But if you're like that like strident and confident about it, it's like dial it back a little.
But you're not supposed to hide who you are anymore, Smark.
Well, not anymore. We're talking. This is an entirely different ballgame. This was
I still shouldn't,
late
man.
'90s.
I was proud to get my porn. Walk right in that bitch.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, probably coming from the strip club anyway.
I'd fucking announce that motherfucker. Going to the porn section. Anybody want to come on in?
Anybody want to join me? Like, sir, there are families.
Recommendations? Anything? Anybody? All right, going to rent some porn. Nora wants to know if we hate the post office. Doc,
What question?
why does this seem like a trick question?
Yes, which is why we use stamp.com. Use promo code.
This seems like a trick question here. Do we hate the post office? This is going to reveal some weird political thing later down the road.
I mean, no more than any other government-controlled entity.
I'm worried about this question you ask, sir. No, I don't. I actually don't. I don't go much. I don't need to go to the post office much. But they have been horrible with mail lately, and getting checks has been tough. Okay, NORAB. I think he was actually just kind of trying to pick his own nerve there because he says he hates them, despise them, he loathes them.
All right, I'll share that sentiment then. If he's passionate enough about it, I'll get behind his cause.
Wow, that loathe hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah, he's still going through that whole situation. I thought he was getting out of that, but I guess it deteriorated once again. Losing all his mail, that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
And don't go postal. I'll say that right now.
Nah. Oh, you.
It's just mail, bro. It's just mail. You can find mail somewhere else. Oh, wait, actually.
I think that's a felony.
Yeah, I just...
I don't necessarily endorse what it is that you just said, just for...
Jesus, you're not getting mail till next May. What the fuck?
I mean, I guess it isn't so bad nowadays because you can pay bills online and most of the stuff is done electronically anyway, but like...
Yeah, but I wonder
that does sound terrible.
I wonder if you could like put in a forward to a a safety deposit or a post office box or something.
It seems like it'd be something.
No, I think they don't have your mail because you're stop ordering those movies that me and Smark were just talking about through the mail.
Mm-hmm. Is that the part? He has a bunch of like backlog of those fucking what were those fucking I forget the name of the company, but it was like 99 cents and they send you like 10 CDs.
Oh, the Columbia House.
Yeah, that's it, Columbia House.
Yeah, I probably still owe him $9.99.
Mm-hmm.
I probably do. Man, he got a box. It never went. This guy is just having a rough go of it. NORAB.
Yeah, I genuinely feel for him on that. It sounds shitty.
NORAB, bro. Virtual hug, dude. Right there, bro. Virtual hug, brother. Virtual hug, my man. Hope things get better, bro. That does suck, and I got to be something you can. I mean, come on. This is a government. I can't honestly believe that the government would not bend over backwards to help out a citizen, a taxpayer like you, NORAB. I really find it hard to believe they wouldn't do that. I do.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, don't you have to send in your taxes and shit like that?
Yeah, you should not send in your taxes and be like, I put them in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
I know they lose mine too. Yeah, they lose my mail too.
The old Wesley Snipes defense?
Yeah. I still remember when he got caught with a bunch of weed in Florida. That's hilarious.
There's a bunch of people that got Oh, I think George Carlin, I think he owed the government a lot of money too.
Yeah. Dead.
Mm-hmm.
George Carlin was one of those guys that would just probably didn't pay taxes and didn't give a fuck and said, fuck it, come after me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rich. I'm rich. Go fuck yourself. Spark, why don't you go ahead and your story will wrap up the news, man.
There you go. Since it does involve an IEW or not like an AEW person. Let's see. Adam Cole provided an injury update during a Twitch stream on Thursday. And by the way, I don't know why they didn't just say today because today is Thursday. Whatever. Anyways, Cole broke his ankle during a run-in on AEW Dynamite Grand Slam on September 20th, but says it's not clear exactly how the injury occurred. He told followers of his Twitch channel today that the injury will require two surgeries and involve 8 screws and a plate being inserted into his ankle. Well, obviously, as many people know, my ankle is broken, Cole said, and when it's all said and done, I will eventually be able to get everything all fixed. Going to need to get 2 surgeries, and it'll be a total of 8 screws and a plate in my ankle. That's what I just said, Adam. So not ideal. It's incredibly painful. It's the most painful injury I've ever had. And speaking to doctors, just an absolute freak type of thing, just no idea how it happened. But I'm doing my best to stay as positive as I can. Obviously, this is soul crushing. It's really, really a bummer. And if anything, it's more painful mentally. And physically, it really, really hurts. That sounds sad, but it's also kind of funny.
It does.
It's like mentally, this fucking sucks, but physically, this also fucking sucks. It's like, well, shit. Anyways, Cole was shown on AEW programming this week with a video with Roderick Strong in the Kingdom, shown twice because they fucked up the first time. Despite Cole's injuries, Strong asked him to help arrange some furniture for him during the scene. Cole says he will be spending more time on his Twitch channel now that he is injured. I'm a horrible human for laughing at that. As of this writing, he's been playing Lies of P for over 4 hours.
Jesus.
I play video games about one too, but that's just a funny way to end an article. It's like he's been a lot of more time on his Twitch channel now that he's hurt. He's been playing video games for 4 hours. Dude, come check on him. He needs help.
I play video games for like an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been playing too long. I should be doing something. It's like I mean, and I've been doing. For some reason, I decided to start playing GTA 5 again.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I have done some bunch of what I've been doing is like the secret missions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have one you can go in a submarine and go in the water and get a bunch of sonar parts. You get big money for that. You have one where you go in and you have to dive and pick up pieces for some lady, and you do that. And then there's one where you go find 50 UFO parts around the whole. You've played GTA before, right?
Yeah, I played GTA. I played not all of them. I played the first one, Grand Theft Auto 3, 4, Vice City, all that shit.
Okay.
4 was like kind of unfun. It was like more like serious and somber. It was like, and then GTA 5 came. It was like you said, more wacky. There's a lot of like side missions that you could do and just like fun shit, distractions and diversions. I spent the first night I got it, which is funny because I got it for Christmas one year, and it was a very festive activity because I spent like 2 hours just trying to come up with unique ways to kill my character.
Yeah,
of like throwing grenades and just standing there, or like going on top of a building, throwing a grenade, or firing a rocket launcher, just watching them fly all over the building. Like just so much of the dumb shit that has nothing to do with the actual like game that people worked hard to make and write and do voice acting for. Like some of the most fun parts is just like doing a bunch of just dumb shit that has nothing to do with the actual game mission or story. And so,
dude, right now there's a way to get into something called director's mode where you can play as like a ton of other characters. Well, there's one you play as animals, but the only way to get the animals is to travel around the universe and find. I have to find all the 27 peyote plants. I have found 5, but I can be so far a coyote, a chicken, a bird, coyote, chicken, bird, deer, and what was one? I can't remember the 5th one, but they're so hard to find. But I've been doing a lot of these fucking side missions though, and looking up all these fucking codes and shit. And I mean, it's like my brain knows the cheat codes at this point.
That is kind of one of the fun things about Grand Theft Auto 5 is that you can still use cheat codes, which you can't really use a lot of cheat codes now in like other games. It's kind of a thing of the past.
And the cheat codes are easy. You dial the phone numbers. You put 199 on off-road, you got you a dirt bike. You put 199 buzzkill, you can spawn you a helicopter.
It's kind of been the interesting switch with like video games now. Is like I said, they don't really do cheat codes too much on games these days, but they also like added basically just like a either they call it different things in different games, but like a casual mode
Mm-hmm.
or just a regular like story mode where it's like, don't worry, this game will be as unchallenging as possible. You're gonna breeze right through it. If you just want to see the story and what happens, that's the one you pick. So it's like
Yeah.
they've dialed down the difficult, or at least one of the difficulty modes. They dialed down difficulty quite a bit.
Yes, you can. Yep, Norab said you can be a werewolf. All those characters you go through that game and meet and talk to, you can be. You can be an alien. You can be all the guys you went up against, those Mayweather guys. You can be all those guys. You can be cop. You can be a fireman. You can be all that. What is it? FIB agent. You can be all that shit in the director mode. I think you put in 1999 JR talent, and it'll put you in that mode on the phone. But
So
yeah, you can look all those phone numbers up. I still go to the same fucking website I've been going to since the fucking late or early 2000s. Cheat Code Central.
used to use Game Winners. I don't know if it's this website anymore, but it was
Ooh.
GameWinners.com.
But I've always been into that, man. I had the Game Shark with all the fucking codes loaded up into it and shit. And,
Yeah.
but I would always do the game and then put it in, and I would save another game like this is the cheat game. But I would always have another game to where I did it, the right way.
It's such fucking nostalgia. Just having like a room that was just cluttered with like fucking printed pieces of paper that have the cheat codes.
Scribble down.
No, I was too lazy to do that. I would just straight up print them.
I would
Just straight up
yeah.
from the website, just a full list of all the fucking cheat codes, just printed a bunch of different, like I said, just scattered on the floor or whatever, because I was a child and I fucking giant mess. Just pages and pages of fucking video game cheat codes just scattered on the floor.
What scares you though?
Like the fucking Dave Meltzer
Yeah.
photo of just like newspapers everywhere, but it's like video game cheat codes.
It scares you the ones you remember though, because I still remember a couple of the cheat codes. I mean, what was the Contra one?
Up, down, down, left, right,
left,
EA, select,
left,
start.
left, right, BA start, right?
I mean, that's where that whole, that's where
Yeah.
the video game channel that Xavier Woods has is up, down, down.
Right. Dude, 007-373-5763. That's the code to Tyson, I think.
Nice.
I think that might be the code to Tyson. Anyone's welcome to check me on that. But I think that's the code to Tyson.
That was a whole thing too of just having to enter in like the numerical like passwords so you could get to a certain level, because most people didn't have all day to just play an entire video game through, so you had to come back.
Yeah. It's like I was playing this Hoyle Casino game one day, and for some reason I decided to just type in all nines, and I accidentally came across it's a cheat. It's a cheat.
Nice.
And I ended up having like $20 trillion in the game. And I'm like, holy shit. It said how much to start with. And I just held the 9 button down and said, let's see what happens. It happened to be a cheat. I ended up with a shitload of money. I think I gave that game to my oldest. He's probably broken it by now. But yeah. So yeah, Adam Cole out for a little bit. He's out for a little bit. I think we'll still see him on TV. Obviously, he can still do stuff, and we'll. Jesus Christ, Britt Baker did some of her best stuff when her knee was busted up. So we'll see how much Adam Cole can do. But it looks like he might just want to play games. What is Lies of P?
It's on Game Pass. I know that doesn't answer your question, but if you have Xbox or you have like Windows Game Pass or whatever, it's are you familiar with like fucking Bloodborne or like Dark Souls?
No.
Basically, it's one of those games where it's like it's supposed to be like really hard for the sake of being really hard.
All right, I see it being actually looks like a damn good. Looks like, let's see.
I want to play it. It looks like it's fun. I can't tell you anything about the story because I've been trying to avoid it because I want to actually play the game. That's why I don't know much about it. But I've been playing a bunch of other games and playing the Dragon Age series right now because that's also on the Game Pass. Game Pass is a pretty damn good value.
This looks pretty fucking badass, to be honest.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the gameplay. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't want to show you what I'm looking at. I don't want to spoil it for you, but this does look fucking really good, man. I think this looks like a pretty cool game.
Mhm.
It's like something I might get into.
It's
It,
one of the like really popular games at the moment. It's that and Starfield.
hmm.
Starfield's like it's a RPG, and I guess you go to different planets and shit.
Might need to I need to get back into gaming and get into some new games instead of this GTA 5.
What I
So,
like to do sometimes is like I'll grab the controller and I'll just like stand up and just walk around while I'm playing the game, like in front of the television. Because like you don't even pay like you're not even really paying attention to the fact that you're doing it. You get a fucking solid hour of walking and get a little extra cardio. It's fun.
exactly.
I mean, I feel
Shit.
less bad about the fact that I'm playing video games for like 4 or 5 hours if I'm like doing somewhat of a physical activity while I do it.
There you
You
go.
balance things.
There you go. I like that. All right, man. You want to get a dub?
I do. Do you want to talk about the pay-per-view a little bit? I know you said you didn't watch it.
Sure.
It was kind of, it was maybe an omen for things to come if they do yearly pay-per-views,
Mm.
because it kind of felt like a nothing show. Like it wasn't bad, but it was like there was like 2 or 3 really good matches, and the rest of the stuff just kind of happened. Like the Swerve Hangman Page match was really good. Obviously, the Danielson Zack Sabre Jr. match was good. But to go back to the Swerve Hangman match, it was interesting because they were in Seattle. So like obviously the crowd's going to be behind Swerve, but they booed Adam Page the entire match, and that was interesting. Because like he's
Wow.
been a heel before,
Mm-hmm.
but not so much in AEW. They try to make him as much of a face as possible. So it was just fun to see him work in that environment because he hadn't been a heel in a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. So,
So
but
there was
yeah.
that, and then the main event was pretty good. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, this Danielson Sabre Jr. match was good too.
Yeah,
But then
it's
like everything after that and before that was just kind of eh. So
yeah.
it's like if they're gonna end up doing monthly pay-per-views, it's like that's what I fear we're in for is that there's gonna be like 2 or 3 really good, memorable, big ones, and then you're gonna get a lot of nothing burgers.
A lot of bullshit in between.
Yeah, kind of filler.
Wonderful. Oh, filler. We just love filler.
Mhm.
Filler, filler, filler. Oh, Phil. Wow, this is. I, it's Mark. Let's just before we get into AEW, let's just say it's been 2 weeks now since we've talked about Mr. Brooks,
Mhm.
but I haven't heard of any backstage brouhahas in AEW since someone's been gone.
Right.
Number one, but I'm wondering if maybe Tony Khan put a kibosh and everybody fucking talking to old Meltzer and Alvarez's.
I don't know if I would say that as much as just the idea that like if it can happen to Punk, it can happen to you. Like keep your nose clean. Like you will get fired if you keep fucking around.
Oh, I gotta. We said that he's being made an example of. This was where Tony had to fucking either show he had the balls, or he was just gonna keep getting fucking walked on by everyone in that fucking company.
Hmm.
So this should have been a fucking wake up call to a lot of people. Um, it should be, and they should fucking shape the fuck up. So, but anyway, speaking of AEW, we actually had the 4th anniversary of the show last night, folks. 4 years of AEW. Nice. Very nice. It really doesn't feel like it.
No,
It really doesn't. It feels like it hasn't been, like it's been way less time, which I think is a good thing.
for sure.
I think it's a good thing. So, and don't forget, folks, next week Dynamite is on a Tuesday night. We're still doing the show Thursday. That's fine. We'll just be able to relax on Wednesday night, or even watch on Wednesday night still if you want to.
Hmm.
So we'll still do this. Nothing's going to change here. But Dynamite did kick off this week with Renee Young backstage. Just my God, she looked like the whole 5-course meal. That woman just, good Lord. John Moxley, you're a lucky man. It kicked off with Renee Young. She was backstage with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, who were teaming up later that night. And Mr. Copeland decides to come in and show up, and Kenny Omega introduces himself to him. A little bit of a awkward meeting between the two, but
it was so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
because he was like, "You had me on the edge of my seat." And I was hoping that like Swerve would just walk up and just smack him like he smacked Hangman Page. Like that would be just his new gimmick, because he would just smack people for like fucking up.
I thought it was stupid, but it was kind of like edge.
Like it was supposed to be, but at the same time, it was like, get your dad jokes away from me, Kenny Omega.
Well, and it's funny you say dad jokes, because this literally looks like he's meeting family. Like Renee brought home someone,
and like a sitcom.
Yeah, Renee brought home the like old dude that like still wears a leather jacket, and this is like her dad and her brother, Jericho and Omega, and he's meeting the brother. This is what it looks like.
I can see that.
Jericho's the dad with no shirt on. All he needs is a beer in his hand.
That's it.
Either that or this is a future episode of Cops. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, that's true. Well, yeah, I mean, Canadian Cops.
Ooh.
So Mounties.
Oh my God, every one of these motherfuckers is Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Edge made some kind of comment about like just the maple syrup that was flowing through the room at the moment.
I didn't even. I picked up on that, but I forgot Renee also Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man, Kim to let her go. Idiots, dumbasses, fucking Canada. Just kidding, Miss Steven. Just kidding. So yeah, this was again. I don't know. I thought it was. I like stupid humor. We've decided I don't like good stuff, haven't we already on this show? And on Hollywood Hangout, we've decided I do not like good things. I just like what I like, whether it's good or bad.
There you go.
I don't know how to explain it, folks. Just I hope you feel the same way. So after that, Smark, we get a little Nick Jackson. He's up against Ray Phoenix for the international title. And Smark, a few weeks ago, me and you were questioning whether Alex Abrahantes is I think I said his name right. I apologize if I didn't. Is he a hype man or is he a manager? Well, that's been settled.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hype man. This settles it, I guess. The Hype Man t-shirt. He was wearing it last night. I like it. I like the t-shirt.
I kind of feel like in some, and I probably said this last time we talked about him, but I feel like in some regards, he's like the modern, less annoying version of Jimmy Hart.
Yes, less annoying because he's not out there yelling on a bullhorn the whole time. Thank God.
Right, yeah.
But he is the hype man, Smark. But yeah, I would agree with that. He is jumping up and down, going crazy. But I got to tell you, I watch him during some of the matches, and he's always showing some emotion.
Yeah.
He's never just standing there. Ever. Even when he should be just standing there, he's not just standing there. He's looking down. He's moving. He's moving here. He's looking here. He's looking there. He's like on a fucking swivel the whole match.
I think to some degree that probably helps get the live crowd into it too.
Yeah. Speaking of live crowd, did you happen to see that video of Prince Nana dancing and the crowd dancing with him?
Yeah, he's doing the swerve dance.
That was, dude, that is how you fucking control a fucking crowd.
That was from Wrestle Dream.
That was incredible. That video. I saw that and I was like, that man has that. He could fucking do anything to that crowd. They would fucking love it right now.
Oh, for sure. Like, he's been doing that his whole career. because like I won't bash anybody in particular, but when he was in Ring of Honor, he was the manager of the embassy, and he had a lot less talent to work with than he does now, and he did a good job of getting everybody over then. So
I think he's doing an incredible job right now too. Um, but Smart, this was a pretty fucking crazy match. I mean, I think we knew when this was coming out. This is Nick Jackson's fucking cup of tea, and this is Ray Phoenix's cup of tea. This was going to be a high flying match. We all knew it. You got, Nick Jackson can definitely fly with the best of them, but you got Phoenix, who's basically a fucking tightrope walker.
mm,
Yes, Christopher Kane, we are talking about AEW. Good timing. And basically a fucking tightrope walker out there with the goddamn ropes, just out there killing it. Phoenix did pick up a win. What the fuck were they doing with the mask? At the end of the
don't.
match, they had like Penta had his fingers like in the mask.
I'm glad you I'm glad you mentioned Penta because he has one of my favorite looks. It's just the fucking luchador mask and the suit. Like he's not the only person that does that, but that is just a great combo.
Yeah, I think so too. And I got the picture up right here of him in it with the Nikes, which I am a big proponent. Dude, I used to wear a fucking suit with Converse All Star. I totally get it.
Hmm.
I totally black Converse All Star mostly, but I do the same shit. I do not like fucking dress shoes at all.
Kind of the Shane McMahon special in wrestling terms.
Yeah, I don't know about that at all, but I just wanted to try to be more comfortable when I was driving most of the day.
Oh, he has a pretty good shoe game. There's videos of him like going sneaker shopping. I
Oh
think it's
yeah,
like for Complex magazine or some shit.
oh yeah. Christopher Kane says Tony Storm versus Sky Blue was confusing. I agree. I didn't know whose ass. I did not know whose ass to look at either. But we're gonna get into that in a minute. I really like this Tony Storm thing, and I do want to definitely talk about that in a few minutes. We'll get to it. Or you know what? What the fuck? This is our show, Smark. We can jump around.
Yeah,
Yeah, jump up, and get down. We can do that too if we want to. Let's go ahead and go to that. The Tony Storm thing. Smark, what do you think of this whole Tony Storm character here?
It is probably my favorite part of the shows.
Okay.
Like I haven't watched Collision in a while, but then they started like doing the whole like portrait of a star or whatever they're calling it, just the vignettes with her on Collision. So I started like watching Collision and just like kind of skipping forward to when those came on. Like it's just fucking wildly entertaining. Absolutely love the gimmick.
Okay, now there were two segments last night. So there was the first segment, which she was kind of in the house and kind of just yelling at her little boy toy.
Mhm.
This character to me feels like Cruella de Vil meets Marilyn Monroe, and they're both losing their fucking mind.
That's kind of been the interesting part about it is like she's starting to become like even like more out there as it goes along. So like I'm curious to see what the trajectory of that's going to be because at first she was like she was doing the character, but then she had like normal hair and makeup and normal attire and shit. And now like the makeup's all smudged and like she's got the new attire on and all that kind of stuff. She's just like becoming like going further and further down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. And she's back to being a little thick, which I like me a thick Tony Storm. She looked great, lean, thin, but she just something about her, man. But I like the whole thing. She's timeless.
Her ability to sneak the phrase tits up into like almost every one of her promos is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah. It's talking about, stomach in, tits out. Watch for the shoe, and there goes the shoe.
Watch for the shoe.
So we did get as he was talking about. Christopher King doesn't understand the gimmick. I think I might have just put a small little explanation there. Cruella de Vil meets Marilyn Monroe. They're both losing their fucking mind. Go ahead.
Well, the idea, I think, is that they've been putting it over in commentary that she's like kind of had a bit of a breakdown after she lost the title.
Yeah.
So like she's adopted this persona because she's like having a hard time dealing with the fact that she lost her belt. And then like the actual gimmick itself is just basically that she's like a disgruntled movie starlet.
Right.
Maybe like
Exactly.
almost like a female Gold Dust, but without the androgyny. Well,
Well,
actually, with the androgyny,
with
she made out with
the
Soraya. Yeah, so she's just a female Gold Dust.
she's slapping titties out there
Mm-hmm.
and calling it the titty slapper.
That's it. Throwing shoes
Um,
at people.
but her and Sky Blue had a match. It it wasn't the greatest of matches, but Sky Blue is still young, learning. But man, there was a good booty in that match.
There sure, there sure
There
was.
sure was. I don't
It,
care how sexist or misogynistic it sounds. It's the truth, folks.
she's one. I would say Tony Storm's one of those rare few people that have like sort of I call it the centaur body that still like actually look good. Oh,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like the women that are like they have like this 20%
Oh.
upper body and then like 80% lower body, and it's just like it seems like it would be hard for them to physically move.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like the physics of it are thrown off. Like you like created a character and you were having a lot of fun with it. I would give her all the credit in the world though, because like A, I do love the gimmick, but B, she's wrestling without knee pads now. That shit has to hurt.
Probably. Christopher Kane says that match was TVMA.
That is true. That is true.
Goddamn right it was. Look, listen. Sky Blue is still young, but she's riding a little bit of a wave right now. No pun intended. She's, listen, every week her ass breaks the internet. She's out there. So I don't blame him for putting her out there, but I think these two are having a good little feud, and I think Tony Storm is. I see more layers to this character that haven't even been brought out yet. If I'm right. Yeah, if I'm right, there's going to be a lot more to this character, and she's pulling it off right now, man. I mean, Jesus Christ, where was this? WWE would have eaten this character up.
I think so. I think they would have probably also ruined it, but
well,
she would have had a moment for a little while there.
They would have ruined it. Would have been like the vaudevillains that they ruined.
That had some potential too.
I didn't really care for either guy, but they were great. They were a great team. And characters.
That's actually kind of a. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and the characters were great. That's it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I was just thinking of like potentially fun gimmicks that they trampled all over. It wasn't super unique necessarily, but the Maxim male model gimmicks, where it was like they just got done firing both of them.
Right.
But it was a fun gimmick for a minute.
It is, and they're planning on sticking with it as a tag team when they are out of their 90-day.
I'd make fun of them just endlessly, and it's going to sound very insincere, but I could actually see them doing well with that in Impact.
Possibly. I don't. You do not need another goddamn tag team in AEW. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't see them making maybe Ring of Honor, but I don't see them being in the main AEW roster proper.
Just thought it's funny. The first time I saw Mace as God, what was his name in NXT?
Oh God, NXT Retribution or NXT?
NXT. What was his name over there when he was I forget his name, but first time I saw that guy, we were talking about him, and I said this guy looks like a fucking male model.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be damned if they didn't make the motherfucker a male goddamn model. So, but yeah, man, it's I'm enjoying that character though. I just think it's all fun though. I don't know, but I guess from here we jump back. We Tarantino it back to. We see the MJF segment from last week, the MJF segment with him and Cole. And then we see Cole putting off his injury to his surgery, not putting off his injury, his surgery to help out MJF. But he's actually right now, he's over there with Roddy, who, my God, screaming that name is awful. Adam.
He's so good. I take back everything I said.
No,
he's made that work.
Nope. Nope, you're not going to get me to do it. I won't do it. Not
I
going
mean,
to do
yeah, it
it.
does make him look like a little bitch, but that is the whole point of the character.
No, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. You ain't going to get me to do it, Smart. Not going to. No, 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 no.
Fair enough.
But this is the segment Smart talked about earlier, and they did have a bad audio problem. I thought it was just on the app because the app tends to have a lot of audio problems for some reason that I don't see anyone else complaining about. So it's pretty much just on the app. But this was horrible. They came back from commercial and replayed this segment. I thought that was pretty goddamn cool of them to not just throw it up on YouTube, but to just replay it right away, acknowledge they fucked up, and do it. It took a couple segments for them to realize it, but that's not the problem. That's the whatever. They fucking just said, hey, we fucked up. This is what it should have been. Not that it was any better with sound.
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask, as we've established.
But there was a couple of funny moments in there. At one point, we had Roddy and Adam Cole just running around the place on wheelchairs and scooters, a knee scooter he's on. And the whole time they're doing this, you've got... Now, I'm looking at... Does he have prosthetic legs on, Roddy? Wait a minute.
Amazing if he did. I don't think he does, but...
Did I not notice this last night? Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's wearing socks with pictures on them. Okay. Those legs are shiny. That's all I'm saying.
Legs the shiny legs?
They are shiny legs. But anyway, yeah, they're running around, and Kingdom is just looking at Adam Cole like he's like a home wrecker.
Taven, for some reason, is clutching a stuffed giraffe.
Yeah, exactly. And it was so fucking weird. It was a weird little segment, but yeah, Kingdom was funny. I did think they were funny just the way they were looking at him. That happened, and then you got the Kingdom looked like two jealous little fucking teenagers. It was hilarious, but after that, they kind of stop, and then Roddy decides to why can't I speak tonight? Decides to ask Roddy or Adam Cole to make it a little more feng shui. And for some reason, we get to watch Adam Cole move furniture with one arm, with the guys from Kingdom just standing there watching him and laughing. And even Roddy had a little look in his eyes like, I got this motherfucker now. You catch that? Smart? Where'd you go? Do I still have Smark here? There you are.
Yeah, you still have a surprising amount of bicep strength from old Adam Cole.
Yeah.
I tried to hit the mute button because I needed to cough, and then it didn't happen. And then I tried to talk, and somehow the fucking mute button worked. So,
Dio Madden, that is who it was. Thank you, Stephen Butler. I didn't mean anything I said about Canada. I meant nothing bad I said about Canada. Nothing. I didn't mean any of that about Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got great TV shows. Thank you. More Rookie Blue, please.
Like the Thanksgiving is coming up.
What?
Like maybe not in the near, like a Canadian Thanksgiving is like before American Thanksgiving. I don't know why. I don't know if it's this month or early in November, but let's find out.
Really? All right. Yeah, let's do that. But this segment was definitely a funny segment. So nice they had to play it twice. So there you go. Smark has locked up. Why did Smark lock up there? Oh, both of us did. Oh, I know why. Because I minimized the screen accidentally, folks. That was completely my fault, and I apologize.
Okay, I'm right. Yes, 2023 Canadian Thanksgiving, October 9th.
There you go. Jesus Christ, Stephen Butler even has a Canadian accent on when he types. He said it's on a Monday.
So there you go.
On a Monday. And then
celebrating the first feast between the Indians and Teddy Hart.
And Teddy Hart, the pride of Canada.
Is when he moonsaulted off the ballast of a ship.
Right. Why did my daughter just break in here again? You have to go again? Oh, you're getting mommy's brush. She's gonna go probably brush my wife's hair. She does it for like hours.
Right now.
You got the brush? Okay, go ahead. Oh,
Ah,
mommy's hair
yes,
is tangled.
apparently is always in the second Monday of October. So see, there you go. We've learned something
Okay,
today.
there you go. All right. Well, speaking of something smart that only happens once a year, folks, last night we got to see Wardlow wrestle.
And the triumphant return of Griff Garrison.
And Griff Garrison. I was a little shocked to see Griff Garrison in the first place.
I felt so bad because there was a little like lower third graphic that was like making his 2023 debut.
Yeah.
Griff Garrison, and then you cue Wardlow's music, and it was like, well, see you in another year, Griffer.
As soon as I saw Wardlow, I'm like, oh boy, what are they going to do with this guy? He's got a little bit of a new look. His hair isn't slicked back. He's got a little more of a beard. And looking a little different. But as soon as I saw him come down, I'm like, oh, squash. Griff is dead.
For sure. And he was.
Yeah. Basically 5 powerbomb symphony, 5 powerbombs from Wardlow. Ref stops the match. I thought, listen, I hope they do a lot with Wardlow. Funny, a couple weeks ago, we were literally playing the game, Where's Wardlow? And here's Wardlow. We found him. We finally found him. But Smark, I have compared this guy's push to the same push Dolph Ziggler used to get. Push, 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 stop. Push, push, stop. Push, 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 stop. Push, stop. Push, pull. Push it and pull it.
Mm-hmm.
That's been
With
about
Umbrella and Pet went to
for the old schools out there.
That was one of the greatest songs to ever exist. That's the greatest part of that is that like he like fucking Kamala is actually a good singer or was a good singer, I guess. But he had a good voice. It was like he was singing about fucking Pat Patterson fucking people in a very harmonic and sort of rhythmic and docile tone.
And Brooklyn Brawler. Yeah,
Brooklyn
same
Brawler.
thing.
And then at the very end, for some reason, he decided to talk about Chris Benoit, which seemed a bit off topic, but still.
I mean, anybody who talks shit about Chris Benoit, I get it.
True, very true.
I do. Even and he didn't even, and this was before it even happened. So hey, who knows? But anyway, Wardlow, I gotta tell you something. I don't know that Tony Khan stepped in some fucking 4-leaf clovers on the way to the arena. Because this crowd still gave a shit about Wardlow. And we'll see how long that lasts. But Tony Khan's fucking lucky. If this crowd takes to Wardlow one more time, he better not take that for granted. Because Wardlow might not have too many more times. This crowd, the AEW fans have wanted to see Wardlow do well and move up in this company for a long time. Every time he's out there, this crowd falls in love with him. But Tony Khan better not fuck this one up because eventually the crowd's just going to go, well, you're wasting my time again.
Right. So, I mean, speaking of, I've been thinking about this. For some reason, it's been on my mind the last, like, week or two. You remember when they were doing that, like, blind tag team tournament where they're just, like, randomly pairing people together?
Yeah.
They did a segment. It was like Darby Allin was teaming with Keith Lee, I believe. And he did this whole big promo where Darby Allin got in Keith Lee's face and he's like, what happened? You used to be a monster, you used to be a tough guy, and now you're like just like a little bitch, basically. And he like, I think he even slapped Keith Lee. And then Keith Lee got all fired up and was like kicking ass for one match. And now, like a month and a half later, he's on the pre-show for Wrestle Dream on YouTube. Like it went absolutely fucking nowhere with it.
That's why I say I think Tony Khan's lucky this crowd still gave a shit because they didn't know who it was to begin with because the music was a little new. And then once they saw the Wardlow name pop up, the crowd fucking got up.
Right.
they got up. They got pretty excited for him, which that's great. But like I said, man, you keep doing this with a guy like like Wardlow, who the crowd and the fans want to see do well, want to see get a title, want to see advance in this company. Tony Khan is fucking just keeps fucking cock teasing us with him.
Right.
Stop it, Tony. Quit teasing us, you little bastard.
Yeah, you're a naughty girl, Tony.
Naughty Tony. Naughty Khan. Naughty.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty Tony Khan. All right. So anyway,
Smooth transition.
we should probably move on from that. We get a little video of the Edge Adam Copeland debut, which, like I said, I did see that. That was fucking awesome. We've talked about that, I think, enough by now. Now, Renee is backstage with Don Callis and Takeshita. And that was from earlier that night. And Don tells us that Kyle Fletcher is going to be the one that is going to be Takeshita's partner tonight against Jericho and Omega. I guess they just needed somebody to be Don Callis' whipping boy at the end of this.
And it's like, oh, who's going to eat the fall? Let's see.
Right. Exactly. They needed to pick someone to eat the pin that wasn't going to be affected by it one fucking bit. So they grabbed Kyle Fletcher.
Which I am sad about because apparently a favorite on the show, based on appearance alone, I'm assuming, Mark Davis, he is injured, apparently. It's Kyle Fletcher's partner, the lad with the mullet and the mustache.
Yeah, I know.
So get well soon, because I enjoy just sort of your aesthetic.
It's funny they got him and, who we're actually just about to talk about right now. And they got the Butcher, who looks like a completely new guy. He has gone from looking like the fucking Monopoly guy to a very intimidating looking step uncle or something. But I mean, it was the Butcher and the Blade with Kip Sabian, who is still trying to look more and more like Lady Frost every day, versus the Acclaimed. The match was great. It really was. I thought it was a fun match. The Acclaimed, of course, won that match because the Acclaimed have to win most of their matches. Well, but after that, Smark, we get this little recap of Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. This was good. This was a pretty fucking good video. And Danielson is always fucking great after the match when he's screaming and yelling and pissed off. I love it. I love it. I love it. Then we get, they do make a match after the Swerve versus Hangman Page, we see that video. And then we get the devil mask attack. Now, before I get to this match, real quick, let's do this actually. They did make a match official, which is Danielson versus Swerve next week. Remember, Tuesday night, this show will be on instead of Wednesday. Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. Number one contenders match for the TNT Championship, folks. So we'll be seeing that next week.
That's going to be a damn good one.
Now, everyone's having a little... I did not come up with this. I've been seeing this online, and I think it makes a little bit of sense. The Devil Mask, who attacked Jay White. Now, obviously, we know Jay White and the Bullet Club Gold basically still blames MJF. But a lot of people are saying that could have been Jack Perry behind that mask. Now, they can put anybody behind that mask after they showed that, obviously. Anyone with a small frame. Because that was a small guy behind that fucking mask. I've still got a feeling it was Roddy, but I'll leave that.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing is like, okay, maybe it was Jack, but then who were the other guys? That's a part of it too.
Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean probably that's probably where this is going, but there's always a possibility there could be something. That's always the thing about these, because I was listening to somebody talk about it. It's like, do you think the reveal is going to be worth it? Like, do you think it's going to be, is it going to live up to the hype? It never is, because it's always that the most fun part is always like the Christmas morning feel of like, yeah, it's probably this, but it could also be that. It could also be this person. Like you said, it could be Jack Perry, it could be Roddy, it could
Could be.
be Adam Cole, but like not while they were filming it. That's who it ends up being later. What's his ankle heals up. So it's just there's any number of people that it could be, and that's always the fun part. Is just the speculation of it.
Could be Kyle O'Reilly.
Hmm.
Is Bobby Fish still in Impact? Do we know?
Probably.
I
I don't think
mean,
nobody's actually like shows up to the taping, so there's no way to confirm or deny that.
what if those two were back and Adam Cole, after going through all the shit he just went through, with now he has to make even more decisions with having to decide: does he put Undisputed Era back together, or does he stay with his new best friend MJF?
Hmm.
I ooh. And you see, that could put a whole thing in with Roddy. Roddy doesn't know whether he's gonna have go back to. Man, this could be a fucking. See, this is, dude. We literally could, dude. We could book 2 months worth of fucking Dynamite right here. You know that, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways this could go.
Absolutely. We could book 2 months worth of Dynamite talking about this, but we're not going to do that because we don't have fucking time. So, speaking of the Bullet Club Gold that we just talked about, we're really leading right into the stuff we need to tonight. Segues are amazing tonight, Mark.
Hmm.
So we get Bullet Club Gold down there, which in the beginning is just Juice Robinson and the Guns. Juice Robinson, I do have to say, was hilarious after the whole thing at the end. We'll talk about that
Yeah,
in a
well,
minute.
that was my favorite part. Because
Yeah.
like, I don't know if we're gonna get to. I don't know if I want to jump too far ahead, but MJF comes out,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
calls Juice Robertson rock hard taint.
Yeah.
Juice Robertson. At which point Juice just like walks over towards where the camera is, bends over, and starts trying to shove his genitals into the camera while pointing at his taint. It was the funniest shit to me. He does not care about looking like an absolute idiot. He just like fully
Yeah.
commits to just being the most like fucking insane character.
And then he started saying, I've got a rock hard taint. He fucking played right into it.
Hmm.
He
Yeah,
did
they're not gonna get
not.
that chant over, I don't think.
He was like, that is not an insult, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, it's really hard I'll credit to MJF, I guess, maybe no pun intended. It's really difficult to like insult somebody who comes out with their nickname being Rock Hard. Like you're already starting at Rock Hard,
Yeah.
Juice Robinson. Like it's hard to go anywhere from there.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, man. But this was good. Now, MJF was, he came out, and once these guys all came out there, MJF comes out, he rattles off all the bad things he's done. Then he challenges these guys to a Stockton street fight because they were in Stockton, California. He gets in the ring. These guys slide out of the ring. And where the camera is focused, you can't see behind him. And all you see is Jay White suddenly, out of nowhere, come up and take out MJF. They even take the belt. And you see, that's why I got this picture up here. You got Jay White with the belt on. But the funniest part is that as Jay White is cutting his promo, which again, I have not heard many Jay White promos. I don't know if he's known for being a promo guy. I'm liking what I'm hearing out of Jay White. Just me personally.
I mean, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. I didn't feel like he was. Like, it didn't seem like he was a very great promo person in New Japan while he was there. I hadn't heard all of his promos, but it seems like he's gotten better. But at the same time, being in New Japan, I think, kind of presents an interesting challenge that I hadn't really considered until like just right now.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with when your first language is English, and most of the people that you're working with speak either little or broken English, like they're primarily speaking Japanese because you're in Japan, obviously.
Right.
It presents an interesting challenge of like building feuds and like having people to work off of.
Mm-hmm.
Because like he's doing a great job right now, but he's working with MJF.
Right.
So it's like he has a little bit more, there's more give and take there.
And when me and, just to go way, way back a little bit, me and Shaheen talked to Lance Archer.
Mhm.
because he had worked in Japan a lot. One of the questions that was asked of him was about the differences in the American audience and the Japanese audience. And he said that basically he was telling us that the Japanese audience, they're not just going to cheer because you said something or because you really have to earn a cheer from that crowd over
Mhm.
there in Japan is what he was saying. So it's not as easy to get the reaction that you're going to get. You do a zinger over there, you might not get the ooh. Here, you're going to get that.
Right.
So yeah, he might be more comfortable here. You might not be worrying about, what he's obviously what he's saying, and no one here is going to fuck with him if he says something a little outrageous. You could say something. You could say something in Japan that could get you in a lot of trouble. Just trying to be tough. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's different customs and
Right.
whatever.
But I thought, like I said, so far what I have heard from Jay White, I am liking. Um, but it was pretty good. Um, but they will have a match. Jay White did challenge MJF to a match at Full Gear. MJF got so pissed off he agreed. And what I thought was the funniest about this segment, Smark, was Jay White's cutting his promo, and he'd like take this little pause, and Juice Robinson took those moments to scream something at MJF like, "We hate you."
Hmm. I don't exactly know what it is that he's doing, but whatever it is that he's doing it well, and I enjoy it.
You know what? This guy's
Because
got.
like we were talking before, like we were trying to figure out like what exactly it is that the Tony Storm gimmick is. That's a whole hell of a lot easier than being like, all right, what is Juice Robinson's gimmick? It's like,
Well, funny you bring the both of them up at the same segment, at the same little comment there, because they are together.
right, yeah, that's true.
I can't believe he has that, but hey, another
He,
lucky fucking guy.
the man has done well for himself post NXT.
Man's done very well for himself. Since you're right, he has. He fucking. I mean, he was literally in NXT eating, if I remember correctly.
He was doing an environmentalist gimmick for a while there.
Right, and then I think he was eating at one point,
Yeah.
and then they released him. He went to Japan, became this character, slimmed down, and I got to admit, I think I laughed 3 or 4 times at some of the shit he was saying last night.
He's wildly entertaining.
He is entertaining. He's fun. He's funny. This is the kind of guy you'd sit and have a beer with and then regret it 2 hours later, but laugh the whole ride home.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly the kind of guy this guy looks like. I don't know if that's the kind of guy he is, but that's neither here nor there.
I've heard like some like kind of shoot interviews, and he seems like he's not that far removed from that character. Like it's played up, but it's you could definitely see how he comes up with it if you just listen to him talk for a little while.
Yeah.
I also believe he's a fellow Illinois statesman.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Smark.
Mm-hmm.
So we get into Renee Young, where we see Renee Young once again.
I wish.
I know. Thank God we see her once again. Now she's back there with Orange Cassidy and Hook.
Love this segment.
And I think this was a Lay's commercial hidden in AEW. I think this was a Lay's potato chips commercial. I really do. I don't know what else to call this.
Yeah, I don't know where this shit comes from, but apparently, like Hook, that's just like part of Hook's character. I guess it might be on some of the like being the lead segments or whatever. I don't watch, so I don't know. But I guess there's something with him eating potato chips. I don't get it, but it is what it is. I enjoyed this segment because it was like just sort of them like kind of subtly bashing John Moxley, and then I guess kind of realizing who they're being interviewed by and trying to rein it in, and then Hook like offering her a chip, and she'd be like, "No."
Yeah, no, I don't think so. That was kind of funny, but I'm sitting there like, this is so. I mean, I don't know. Orange Cassidy to me is like a flashy Napoleon Dynamite.
I can see that.
Kind of awkward, but not. But I don't know. That's kind of what it is. But this segment, that part of it was funny, but the whole segment itself was just like, did I drop acid?
Like, what was the point of that?
Was there acid in that fucking drink I just drank? Did I just fucking do some fucking LSD? I mean, it'd be fine, but
Mhm.
all right. So here we go. This is one of the matches we've been leading up to most of the night. Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega versus Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. We finally get the match. So we got Callis on commentary. I think we knew that was going to happen.
Mhm.
Now, this was a really good match. I'm not going to fucking lie. It really was. Finally, we get, as we both said, the reason they took off Fletcher was for someone to eat the pin. Callis is pissed off. He's screaming at Fletcher.
The kid screwed me.
He screwed me. That's what he said. The kid screwed me, and he ran off the microphone. So out of nowhere, you see Hobbs. Like the way the camera was, you did not see this fucking guy. So out of nowhere, here comes Hobbs, looking like a guy. Did he get bigger? I don't know how, but did he get bigger?
Perhaps.
I think he got bigger. Hobbs comes in, he takes out Omega, takes out Jericho. They beat down Omega. It went on for a little while with the Omega beating. Choked him with a guardrail. So Callis duct taped one of Omega's arms through it. They just couldn't get that other arm taped, could they?
Nope.
But you know what? I'm glad when Omega fell, he let that arm drop. I kind of thought he was going to like fake that it was taped up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad he let it drop and was like, it wasn't up there. It looked better that way. That was okay. Jericho gets in front of him, tries to stop it. What does he get, Smark? He got a fucking chair shot for it. And then Callis gives Kenny Omega one of the most protected chair shots to the head I've ever seen. It was not a very powerful chair shot. I'm fine with it, folks. We don't need to go back to the fucking, the mid 90s unprotected chair shots. I'm fine with it. I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying it looked like Callis really protected Omega with this right here. And then he basically just raises Hobbs' arm and they walk out. Him and Hobbs and Don Callis. Hobbs is a new Callis family member.
Which I feel like does kind of present like a logic loophole. Or a plot hole, I guess. Not loophole.
Okay.
Plot hole. Of just like, if they were looking for somebody for that tag match and they already had Hobbs in the stable, why not use Hobbs instead of somebody who's probably going to lose you a match?
Because Hobbs was the secret weapon. You don't want to show your hand before during a card game, Smart. You want to show it. You want to show it when the game is over. Take all the chips. That's what he did. He may have lost the match, but those guys, he walked out. They didn't.
This is true. Like Callis said, it's all about winning the war.
Well, yeah. You may have won the battle, but we won the war. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I see what they were doing there. It does give you a little question mark on a few things, but I will say this. We've said for a couple weeks, what are they doing with Wardlow? What are they doing with Hobbs? Finally, they got both guys back on television. Hobbs could... This is so much better than being with QT Marshall.
I mean, you could say that about anything.
Well, I realize that, but Don Callis is a great person to put him with. You want to make... Hobbs this guy looks like you would meet him and he would kill you. Don Callis should be a great manager for this guy. I think he will. I think it'll do nothing but help Hobbs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of, to be honest, I'm a little fatigued with the whole Don Callis storyline thing, but like it is a big step up to go from fucking QT Marshall to Don Callis. That's a major improvement. Major improvement. I think they've got another great talent in Hobbs there. The guy has a look. The guy has a fucking a swagger about him.
The guy is a beast. Why can't you use him as the beast he is? Wardlow's the same thing. They have two fucking beasts there, and they want to just fucking put them on TV 1 week at a time and take them off for fucking 6 weeks at a time. It's not going to work. So we have two more segments left here, Smark, and then we're out of here. Man, this is a long one for us tonight. We had Renee with back there with MJF in the trainer's room. The Acclaimed are back there. This was a little bit of a weird segment, but they were kind of trolling the fans on a tweet that Max Caster put out where I think MJF said he's dripping in gold, and Max Caster went, "You'll be dripping in something else when I'm done with you." I think that's what it was. So they were fucking with us again. You see Max Caster go up and start rubbing MJF's shoulders. Now, I think this is also funny because he's not the gay one. Anthony Bowens is the gay one. And he came up with the scissoring thing. It's such a weird dynamic between those guys.
This is true, yes.
Who cares? They're entertaining as fuck, and I like those guys. And MJF,
I was kind of wondering where they were going with this when it first started.
I
because
did
it reminded
too.
me of, like, I don't remember who the promo was, but somebody was cutting a promo, and like Hawk was in the background. He just like opened the door and looked and saw they were in the middle of filming and just like kind of sheepishly closed the door again. I forget who was cutting the promo, but that's what it made me think of.
Well, this was a little bit of it was a little weird, but I don't quite know what's going on. But he does try to call Adam Cole, and it goes to voicemail. Now, we all have voicemail. I'm not sure where that voicemail came from, but that was a weird one. Anyway.
He didn't set up his voicemail, because usually it's like, Adam Cole is not here.
Right. I think they did a fake one just in case it gave a number or some shit.
That would be terrible.
That would have been the best thing they could do. But
Mick Foley fucking did that to Al Snow. He gave out his real number when they were feuding. And like Al Snow had to get a new number because like fucking thousands of people called him, because that was Attitude Era. That was when that shit was still hot.
oh shit. What? Christopher Kane said, "How did slapping meat become a thing?" What?
Well, we don't have that kind of time. That's a long and complicated history.
Sometimes you got to go meat on meat. I'm just telling you right now, boy. Sometimes you got to go meat on meat. Okay.
Push it and pull it.
So, the whole night they've been telling us we're going to hear from this man named Adam Copeland. We've talked a lot about this man tonight. We're not going to get too big into this. So, he calls out Christian. Christian comes down. He questions how Christian could even think about ending the career of a legend like Sting at WrestleDream. After
He said Sting 80 times.
I know.
Just in rapid succession. Sting, how could you do that to Sting? I was like, okay,
Sting.
You're stepping on Tony Schiavone's thing. Come on.
My God. All right. Should have said Steve just once at the end.
Sting.
Steve, come on. Yeah, saying, how can you do that after how much he idolized Sting when they were growing up? Adam says he wants Christian to team up with him again, and they can face teams like FTR, the Young Bucks, and so many more, and show why they're still be one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Christian gives this hug. And then if you look at this picture that I'm about to put up here, this is right about the moment he puts that mic up to his mouth and says, "Go fuck yourself."
Beautiful.
Fucking. Now they did bleep it, but there was uncensored on the internet, which I did check out because I saw it on the old Facebook. That's what us old people still use. Mm-hmm. So that was this. This is great. I mean,
something about that was so much more effective too, because it wasn't like he hugged him and then he like attacked him. He just hugged him and then like after like mid embrace was like, "Oh fuck yourself," and he walked off.
Yeah, and you see Edge is like, "Oh, this is so nice. I'm here. I'm with him," and then when you look at his face here, and then Christian is just like, I think I'm changing my mind mid hug. Go fuck yourself.
Hmm.
Great stuff here, man. Christian has just become he's become a really great part of the show. They fucked him coming in. Big Show fucked him coming in.
Absolutely.
Big Show overplayed we were talking about not showing your hand. They overplayed their hand.
Hmm.
They overplayed their hand with Christian. It came outwork everyone. It should have said outwork everyone once every 3 months.
Right.
I mean, and but like I said, the guy was snake bit coming in because of the way they pushed him, and
It was like that, like the Royal Rumble. I forget which year, but there was that Royal Rumble where everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to win it,
right.
and he wasn't even in it. And number 30, everybody was so hyped that like it was gonna be him at number 30, and then out came Rey Mysterio, and everybody booed the living fuck out of Rey Mysterio. Like
Yeah,
that's what it reminds me of, because when Christian debuted on that show as Revolution, that was before, I believe it was before Danielson. It
right.
was before Punk. Everybody was hoping and wanting Punk.
Uh-huh.
It was before Punk. So it's just like there's all these people that had yet to show up. They could have potentially shown up. A lot of them are actually there now. But then everybody was so excited for just whoever the pie in the sky, whoever they wanted to show up. And then it was him. And it was also Ethan Page, which was an even bigger letdown. But then like people he started in such, like you said, he started in such a deficit that
He
it's taken
did.
him this long to claw his way out of that fucking hole that they threw him in. But he's done it. He's
Oh
become,
yeah.
like you said, he's become a very entertaining part of the show on a week to week basis.
He's become one of the most entertaining parts of the show. I'm not even just saying not just an entertaining part. I mean, when Christian comes on, dude, I don't know about you, but if I'm on my phone, I see Christian, I stop. He's gonna say something fucked up,
Mhm.
and I've got to hear what fucked up shit this man's got to say. So I am really liking Christian. I am liking this, dude. Just with this right here, you've got a couple months of television with these two, and it's going to be
Mhm.
good. These guys, they've been best friends for 40 years. They don't think they can fucking work together. They've worked together long enough. There's some good TV coming up with these two guys. Again, if you're not just sitting there being happy for Edge, I get it. Some people are going to think the guy's a fucking traitor, a backstabber. Grow up. Grow the fuck up. Be happy for the fucking guy. Stop.
I mean, for whatever it's worth, it's still dumb. It's dumb either way, but this is what happens. Because there were people that were like also kind of equally butthurt about the whole Jay Cargill situation.
I agree. Which is
And there
like,
were people, funny enough, that was even upset about the Cody Rhodes situation. But for me, it was just like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
well, did we'll end on this here. We've got to stop being fans of um, companies. I forget who said it, but someone I think it might have even been Omega, who said you're just a fan of acronyms, AEW, WWE. But really, what you are we're becoming company fans, not wrestling fans.
Hmm. Do you remember
It's
that fucking god awful commercial where like the guy gets a tattoo and he's like,
yes,
I'm not a wrestling fan, I'm a WWE fan. And that's how
yeah,
he talks. You could look at the fucking commercial.
yes.
This is like, oh my God, it was the worst.
You
Oh,
you are not exact. You are doing a perfect, spot on impression, sir, and I appreciate that.
it's terrible.
No, perfect impression, not terrible. But
Well, yeah, the
terrible
impression was good, but
commercial,
the
great
commercial.
impression, great impression. But you're right. That's exactly what it is like, though. People are becoming fans of companies, folks. This company doesn't give a flying fuck about you. They may pretend to, but I promise you they don't. If you stop watching their product tomorrow, they don't care. If hundreds of thousands of us do, they'll care. You personally, they don't give a fuck. Like I said, all you people burning your Edge fucking action figures and saying, I'm never watching WWE again. Do you have a Nielsen box? No. You don't matter. I promise you. You don't matter to them. Used to, everybody used to be all anti-company. Now it's like, yeah, big company. Let's slow down a little bit. We don't need to be fans of companies.
Exactly.
We need to be fans of wrestling. That's
yes,
it.
regardless of which company in this instance you watch, they're both owned by billionaires, and at the end of the day, neither one really gives a flying fuck about you as an individual.
Yeah, and I mean, we may not talk. Listen, I know everyone. Well, you guys don't only deal with one company, right? But we don't shit on everything WWE does. We still talk WWE news. I still keep up with WWE. It's just, why are we going to talk about Raw when it just happened? When it happened 4 fucking days ago, SmackDown hasn't fucking happened. 2 days ago was NXT. Everyone's already listened to this stuff, folks.
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of Backlash. I watched the main event for sure. And funny enough, to double back to what we were saying, I watched Backlash because I thought maybe we'd be saying Jade Cargill. So what does that say about her drawing power?
Well, Fastlane's coming up this weekend. We may see her. Who knows? That'd be great. I would love to see her on to see it. So, and trust me, if she's on there, I mean, not like I have to watch the whole pay-per-view anymore. You go to YouTube, you watch the segment you want to watch. That's it. So, on
that note, I think Tuesday is actually going to be really entertaining because, like we're talking about, they're doing Dynamite, but because they're doing Dynamite on Tuesday, WWE has gone fucking all out. John Cena is going to be on fucking NXT.
Cody Rhodes is going to be on NXT.
Yeah, they're going all out on this. No pun intended.
They are going, exactly, no pun intended, but they are definitely fucking going for the gusto here. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a good show, and oh my God, wait till Wednesday afternoon, and oh, this one beat this one, that one beat this one. Folks, stop. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I promise you. Neither company gives a shit about you. If you stopped watching tomorrow, they wouldn't fucking care. So just stay in your bubble.
That's right.
Stay in your bubble.
Watch us and listen to us instead, because we do care.
There you go. We care about you. We care about everyone who listens to this show, who downloads this show, who comes into this chat room. And we do give a shit, folks. That's right. At least I do. I don't know about Smart, but I do.
I do.
Oh, Smart does.
I like when people say nice things, and I sometimes like it even more when people say mean things. It makes me laugh.
There you go. Anything. It doesn't matter, folks. But definitely, everybody. Smart, if you've got nothing else, think we're ready to wrap up?
I think that's going to do it.
This was an extremely long show. We have barely gone over 2 hours in the past couple months, and we're at 2:38, folks, almost 2:40. So let's wrap this up. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks, everybody, for downloading. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Thanks, everyone on YouTube, for actually looking at us. My God, I know I'm not good on this shit. I'm awkward. I'm weird. I don't look at the camera half the time. I'm vaping over here. I'm drinking over here. But hey, having a good time. Once again, chat room, thank you. Smark, we will see you next week. Folks, see ya.
Adios.
All right.